All right, we are back to the game. Or I should say, we're starting a new campaign in Dark Sun, which is going to be problematic because there's no psionics in 5th edition, and the monsters
I mean,
don't
there
really
is. It's just
have.
extremely limited.
Oh, and then we don't have the stats for the monsters, which is not that big of a deal. We can substitute the monsters. All right. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the map. Okay. Let me remove that. All right. So we're going to be starting off in the map if everybody's inside the game.
Can
Um,
you send me a link to the game? Sorry, I'm a little behind schedule today.
yeah. The link is up at the top.
Is
Well,
it
let
in
me just.
general? Is it pinned?
I'll just put it in the whatchamacallit. Let's see. Delete that. All right, invitation link. Okay. All right. So once everybody's in the game, okay. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the overhead map. Again, most of you guys have never played in the Dark Sun or don't know anything about Dark Sun. Uh, which is totally fine. The only issue we have, or I think again, like I mentioned earlier, psionics is not like a real thing in 5th edition. So we're gonna have to figure out how to substitute that. That's number one, because basically the whole purpose of Dark Sun is to really show off the psionic classes in 2nd edition. All right. Well, we're not playing 2nd edition. We're playing 5th edition, which again, there's psionics. Again, we have Mr. Silver, who's going to enlighten us on psionics in 5th edition. So let's start with
It's
that,
really,
Mr.
it's really just you're either playing a subclass of a rogue or you're playing the mystic class. That's literally your only options.
Yeah, that doesn't really tell us anything. Well, can you explain that?
I just did.
Yeah.
There's
Well.
a UA class called Mystic, and that's like psionics. Otherwise, there is Aberrant Mind Sorcerer, which is kind of like psionically flavored. Like I think some of their abilities might even use the term, but that's kind of it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, as far as does it work off a point system, or how does that work?
The only thing that uses a point system is the mystic class, and that's it.
Yeah, the Mystic class is kind of like the classic psionics thing.
Hmm.
Um, but it's UA, so um, yeah, I think from what I understand, players in your 5e games may have used you'd allowed Mystic before.
I used a mystic before.
Okay, so yeah, I mean that's it, but I don't know anything about it because I've never played or had any DMs with you. Like, I've never seen it played, so I don't know anything about it except that it. My brief reading of it was it's basically like a 3.5 port of the Psionics class into 5th edition.
It runs the PowerPoint thing like previous editions, but they condensed a lot of the powers into disciplines, which basically grants you more powers as you level the class.
It's still way more complicated than any base class. It's like multiple different spellcasting features with different spell lists kind of thing.
All right. Well, I'm not
But
going to
when
keep
when
tabs on any of that. Who's going to
I
keep
was gonna
tabs on
say when
that?
you say UA, I don't think DM even knows what you're talking about. To be fair,
Oh, okay. There's material that they put out, kind of like the old web enhancements. Um, it's like playtest material. So what they usually do is like if they're gonna release a new class, they'll do an unearthed arcana. That's what UA means. They'll
Oh
do an
yeah, yeah.
unearthed arcana and then later on they'll release it. But with the Mystic, Jeremy, I think his name's Jeremy Campbell. He didn't like psionics
Crawford.
like at all, so he just canned it. So that's why it never made it into like a full class. Like they didn't want to make more classes basically. So yeah, the UA Mystic's the only one we have. Is anybody planning on playing a Mystic? Because otherwise I don't really know that it matters a whole lot anyway.
It functionally plays the same as a sorcerer or a wizard, except it's not technically magic. That's about it.
Yeah, so is anybody wanting to play a Mystic? Like
Nope.
DM, it'll be up to him to figure out
Nope.
how to make Scion enemies. But like as far as is anybody gonna play a Mystic?
Not right. No, not. Don't have any plans to right now.
Okay, then I don't think it matters a lot. Certain monsters have like psionic abilities and such, so it's up to the DM as far as like if he's gonna have monsters, how he handles that. How are we handling like defiling? Like, is it a lost art or are there rules? Like, I know that one of the Dragonlance books I think had something close to it. Anyways, do you know how that's working, DM?
Yeah, I was thinking of using the second edition rules, maybe. There's a chance for your environment not to be able to cast spells because of the
Okay,
yeah.
can you link that anywhere? Because if people are gonna play magic users, that's like real good to know.
Yeah, that's in one of the modules. Let me get that.
Yeah, that's probably like more important than the psionic stuff to hash out.
Yeah. Or we can just not use psionics at all. Make things a lot easier.
Well, nobody is. It sounds like.
Well, yeah, yeah. Nobody said they want to play Mystic, so right, that doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not gonna matter that much.
But we do have people playing casters, so if there are limitations on their spell casting mechanically outside of the social implications, we need to know those up front. Like we need to know
Yeah,
any
let
restrictions
me
or things that are going to change the way 5e mechanics work.
yeah, there's a module. As a matter of fact, let me just put that on my Google Drive. It's called the not Marauders Valley. Oh, it's supposed to be the magic class. You guys know what I'm talking about? Probably not. Let me look it up. You know what? I should have had that ready for you guys. Yeah, you know what? I'll put it on the link in a little while. Let's get to the next subject. What's the next subject, by the way? I just wanted to.
Where are we starting? Are we in tier? Do we know this?
Yeah, it's going to be basically right after Rickus kills the Sorcerer King. Like right after. This is I don't want to set you guys up as slaves because we've done that too many times. You can go ahead and be whatever class you want. Not everyone that is working as a sort of a minion, I guess. The Sorcerer King, Kalek. Kalek is the guy's name. Anyways, not everyone that is working under him is a goddamn Nazi. Okay, guys? So you can play as whatever you want. You can be a store owner. You can say, well, you know what? I want to take the slave route. You can be a slave. It doesn't matter to me. This is liberation time. The Kalek has just been killed. This is right after he's been assassinated. You guys, the whole city is technically going to celebrate because of, Rickus killing Caleb. There is Titus or Tithus, who takes over the new the status of the Sorcerer King for the city of Tyr. You guys are basically right there with the new government taking over. So, again, you don't have to be a slave, but if you want to be a slave, that's totally fine. There's going to be, well, I'm going to go through three options now. Theme number one. This is the whole campaign is going to, be this one theme if you want to take this one theme, which is restoration of the water to restore the planet. That's number one. Well, maybe I shouldn't jump the gun. You know what? Tell you what, I'll just give you that one theme because I think I've already mentioned that anyway. Depending on who you side with, because each of these heroes, for example, Rickus is more of a military type of person, and then you have Aegis, which is more the well. Let me go to the screen here. All right, so if you're in, excuse me, if you're in Foundry, I'm basically talking about these guys. Again, if you've never read any of the novels, you don't have to. Again, you can just, wiki all these guys if you want. You don't need to get all into the backstory. Anyway, Aegis, Rickus, Navanya, Sadria, and Tython. Tython is the guy who took over the spot of Kalak, the Sorcerer King that has just now been killed. Again, the other guys know about the lore. You don't. You guys don't have to ask me about the lore all the time. This is right after the. Again, I know I've repeated this too many times, but Kalak is the Sorcerer King that has just been killed. And again, you could be again, I'm rambling. Do you guys have any questions about this? Again, I think I'm rambling here.
So there's no god in Dark Sun, right?
No. Mike knows as much about probably as much or probably more than I do. So let me get
so there's no deities. There's no deities in Dark Sun, but there are like elemental forces, and it's I want to say 4th edition. Like you could be a cleric devoted to one of those. 5th edition doesn't like you can actually be a cleric weirdly with no deity in 5th edition, even though that's kind of weird. But yeah, so and also paladins in 5th edition don't have gods either. So like original 2nd edition had no paladins because in 2nd edition you had to have a god in there, and also clerics. There were no clerics in the 2nd edition. And 4th edition, which was like there were clerics, warlocks. There weren't clerics in 4th edition because warlocks Pact of the Dragon King were their quote unquote clerics. But yeah, so for 5th edition, I don't know that there doesn't seem like there's gonna be any classes which outright can't be played. One major thing we'll need to think about is how summoning magic works. So in 2nd edition, it was very hard to like plane shift out. There is a book that DM will have to find that it's actually not impossible. It's just there's only like a 2 or 5% chance of any like plane shifting spell working. And there's a really high chance you get lost in the gray, which is some kind of like ethereal plane. But yeah, like summoning spells, like I know in one of the books, like they summon demons. So summoning things should probably it depends on what the DM decides, but like gate should probably not work extra planarly. Maybe summoning things temporarily might be fine.
Well, you know in the lore, Mr. Mike, how that undead Sorcerer King, DRE something.
Oh, Dragoth?
Yeah, he's got gate.
Yeah, Joe Dragoth has an artifact called the Planner. It's called like the Planner Mirror, I think, and that lets him leave the plane a-okay. Yeah.
I mean, he kind of does have a gate.
Yeah, he has a gate, but like in the second edition, like the gate spell only had like a percentage chance of connecting to an outer plane. And Spelljammers, I think there was a module where like the Githyanki attack, and apparently it's like very hard for them to enter like Athos with their Spelljammers, and then they're unable to leave. And then they
Well,
die.
well, you do happen to know that there are spelljammers that suck life from needed magic instead of sucking the magic out of plants. There are spell jamming ships that rely on bodies or living creatures for their energy. I think it's called the Death Throne or something like that. You know what I'm talking about? So there could
Yeah,
be.
so there's life jammers and spell jammers. So the issue with that I'm talking about isn't really related to that. I'm more getting at like plane shift and leaving the plane is going to be difficult. Like even if you can find a spell jammer, um, you'd have to look up the rules again. But it's my understanding that it's very hard to leave Athos.
Oh, it's definitely
So
hard.
like,
Yeah, yeah.
oh, I got a gate and we're gonna gate to Sigil is probably gonna be difficult outside of like finding that one artifact or something like that.
Right, but the players, since you guys are a bunch of murder hobos,
Hey.
you have to let them know that there is a possibility for them
Oh yes,
to
yeah, there is a possibility of exiting. Yeah.
yeah, because the players they're not gonna follow my my themes. So
Well, we
Okay.
got on this
Well,
topic. We got on this topic to explain summoning magic, so we need to
yeah.
understand
So,
yeah,
will
yeah.
summoning
So like,
spells
there
work
are
or not.
some summoning spells in like call woodland creatures, and there's like some other ones. Um.
well,
Yeah. I.
So let's DM what you've done the last campaign or two when you took us to Ravenloft was you allowed only summoning spells that summoned things that would exist on that plane already. So can we
correct,
just
correct.
simplify it like that? Like
Yeah,
if they are
yeah.
objects that would be somewhere on Athos, then we can use the summoning magic. But if they're coming from another plane, we'll say it doesn't work, or maybe there's a
Exactly, yeah.
percent chance
So
or
that's
something.
technically correct, yeah. So anything like devils and demons, they're not from the plains. But yeah, you can summon, like a wolf or whatever, or something that is native to the Dark Sun setting. So yeah, that's not a problem. I'm still trying to find
Okay.
that the module. All right, so just for you guys to make sure we're on the same page. There is a possibility to escape the Dark Sun. Very slim. You would have to, inquire about that. But there's a lot of things happening. Number one is restoration of the water supply to the city of Tyr. And if you want to liberate the remaining cities, that's something that you can pursue if you want. But we have a long way to go for you guys to even try to have that going for the campaign. Another thing is, well, actually, I'll let you guys uh, pick whatever it is that you want to discuss before we go down to the societies and factions and the governments. So, what else did you guys want to go through?
I don't have anything major. How are we going to assume that are we going to make a distinction between like bone weapons and metal weapons, or
Oh
like
yeah, yeah, yeah. Here's what I'm thinking, there, Mr. Mike. I'm thinking we'll just leave the standard steel weapons as bone weapons because then we're going to have to pretty much convert everything with manual stats that I don't want to create. We can just say okay for the purposes of um, labeling a magical item, we can just say steel weapons from the stats from the books are technically bone weapons, and then if you find a +1 steel weapon or a +1 weapon. It could be darts or whatever. It doesn't really matter. That's technically a normal steel item. So a non-magical steel sword is technically a bone sword. A +1 sword is technically a normal steel weapon. A +2 sword would be a +1 magical weapon. Is everybody clear
Yeah,
on that?
so we're just reflavoring it then,
Yeah,
so we don't have.
yeah, because
Okay.
then we would have to make stats for bone weapons, and I'm not going to do that. And then we're going to get into arguments on if it's too much damage, and that's not fair that a bone weapon does this because we couldn't figure out a specific approximate damage and a +1 or a -1 because it's a
Yeah.
bone weapon.
So we're not changing any stats. We're just reflavoring stuff.
Good. All right, we're
But
okay.
it would still be made of bone if it's bone weapon.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just
Unless
using
you-
stats for steel.
Yeah, unless you actually, again, I know you guys are gonna cheese the game. I'm sorry, guys. I know I sound bitter. Okay, I know. No, I
Yeah,
know.
you just saw last campaign.
No. So again, the bone weapons are pretty much the normal, the majority of weapons. I know a couple of you guys maybe are going to be artificers. You already know how that works. No need to go through that. Well, we can.
Well,
we
I
can.
am curious because I know this world is very anti-magic, but if you read the artificer class, though, they have a special footnote in the spellcasting ability section that says when you're thinking about an artificer casting spells, instead of saying hocus pocus abracadabra, think of them using alchemical tools to whip up a salve. So they seem to flavor it as not what would typically be a spellcaster. So I'm curious if we'll still have to deal with people treating that as magic, or are you going to let it be flavored like us doing these mechanical tinkery thing?
Let's go with a tinkering thing type of gnome tinkering. I guess is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Well,
and
yeah.
on the, when I was starting to put together a character today, our construct's going to be like I wanted to be an autognome. That's a race in 5e now, but it's a construct. Is that going to be
Yeah,
valid here?
you guys can play whatever you want. I mean, technically, there you could say that you're a warforged as an example, and you came in through one of the gates from one of the Sorcerer Kings, and you just forgot. Well, anyway, you can put it whatever backstory you forgot how you got here or something. Again, you can be whatever you want. You can be a warforged or whatever, and just give yourself some sort of weird backstory saying you don't know how you got here, or maybe you know how you got here. A spell jamming ship that blew up. You were a prisoner, or whatever. Again, spell jamming is a thing.
Crashed out in the dunes.
Yeah, it's very unlikely, but it's a thing. I mean, yeah, if you want to go that route.
And are firearms going to be allowed in this setting?
Yeah, everything from the books are allowed. You're not going to find any firearms, by the way. The chance.
But I can,
yeah,
as an artificer, it's something I could craft.
yeah, you can craft. Again, your weird knowledge can have a backstory to it. It doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
I do have one question. The what's it called? When you cast magic, what was that called again, Weave?
Casting magic.
What it does to the terrain?
Oh, the defiling?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, he's
Does
gonna get
that-
the
is-
rules on
yeah.
that one, I think.
Yeah, I was wondering if that differentiates between arcane and divine spells.
Yeah, I have no idea. We'll have
Because
to
they're
look.
different sources of magic.
Well, remember, in 5e, there isn't technically an arcane list and a divine list. They didn't make that mechanical
Yeah, well,
distinction.
in second edition there wasn't divine magic anyways, so like whatever the rule is, we'll just run with it. All right, I just sent a request. Your drive document is private, DM.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. It's I just put it in the.
yeah, I clicked it and it said it's private, so you should have an email approving me, asking
Oh.
me to be approved or something.
Um, Try it again. It shouldn't ask for that. How about the rest of you guys? Are you getting a
Yeah.
private message?
Yep. You need
Yep.
access, request access, or switch to an account
I'm
with
not
access.
signing into a Google account for
Here,
that.
You didn't-
Well, how do-
When you share the link out of your drive, you need to set it to anyone with the link can view rather than.
so
Oh.
yeah, you can if you
Permission
approve
restricted.
me, I can download it and load it somewhere, and then other people can get it if they want it.
Oh, okay. Well, what about the?
Or I'll just email it to you, whatever works.
Yeah. What about the monsters loot? Are you guys having problems with that as well? Because you guys never said anything.
I never tried to open that because I don't care about that stuff.
Well, I mean, oh
Let me
yeah, I
see.
did.
Yeah,
I do.
that's the same problem.
Oh,
So
okay.
you are sharing these links not in a way that allows anyone with the link to access. You're keeping them access restricted. So you need to change how you're getting the share link.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, let me. Mr. Mikey. So I just right click on the PDF and share.
I have no idea. You should, if you
Uh,
refresh your email, there should be an email from Google asking if you want to give me access.
I'm not
Um,
giving.
Well, I'm
him-
only gonna do it with Mike. Mike can take care of
Yeah.
the downloading part.
I'll share with the team.
Uh,
So yeah,
how's that? Try that.
nope.
No.
Yeah, you should just have an email.
Well, let me go to my Google mail.
It'll be like Michael is
Oh, okay.
requesting.
Okay. All right. So share. Okay. How's that? Try that. I just said yes.
Okay. Yeah, I got it.
Okay. All right. I'll give you access for the monster loot during the week. Monster loot is kind of important, guys, if you want to. Well, you know what? I'm not going to tell you what to do. If you can't figure it out, that's your problem, not mine. All right. Okay, so we've talked about the magic. Mr. Mike is going to upload the PDF for the spellcaster. And
All right, I just posted it.
all right, so we'll talk about that. So just for your guys' info, there's a chart in the in that PDF that basically says if you're in this terrain, you have to make some sort of a save in order for you to be able to cast that spell. It is on page.
Page 12.
Is it 12? Okay, well.
Yeah. Looks like you have to make, I'm assuming that's going to be a caster level check.
Yeah.
Or like an ability check.
Well, just
I
as
don't
long
understand what this int to int -7 or int -8. I don't understand what any of that means because I did not play second edition.
So,
Okay,
so what-
so here's the thing. It only references wizards, no other spellcaster class.
yeah, so this should be a caster level, like your caster ability check
Your
versus
spellcasting ability check. Got it.
yeah, your
But
spell.
what's
This is a spellcasting ability check. So if the level is like, say, so the difficulty is, I believe, 10 minus this. It's like 10 plus whatever this modifier here is. I think that's it. I'll have to look at it carefully, and I'll figure out how to convert it into like a normal.
Yeah,
normal.
it's all reverse because they work on negative modifiers, so I don't. We need to
Yeah.
translate that to a positive check system.
I think a -1 is like, yeah, I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what, you'll look at it.
I think for Lush it's like a 9, like it's 10 plus that thing. Like you have to roll a 9. If you roll less than a 9, it's a failure.
No,
in
that
Lush terrain.
that -1 spell / level is the outcome. So it's based on those negative checks. So you have an int score, say 18 is your int, and if you roll an 18 or greater, then you fail. If you roll an 18 through an 11, you get usual, and then if you roll a 10 or lower, you get +3 spells per because it's all inverse, right? This is working off of a roll that's based on a percentage check, which is basically the dice level down, which is not how 5e does math.
Okay, well, maybe we'll convert the table into something readable this week.
Okay, I still have the question here. All of this only specifically references wizards and no other class type.
Yeah, I think for other casting classes, you just use whatever your ability modifier is. Because there was like no divine magic in this edition, so unless like we're gonna assume that it is like completely separate, then I think it would just use this because it says yeah. Let me look here. Yeah, are we gonna convert the defiling rules on page? There's some defiling rules in here too.
I mean, right now nobody's going to play a wizard, so we either need to make a generic ruling on all spellcasters, or probably just not even put the effort into this, unless you're going to play a wizard.
Well, I was planning on probably playing a wizard, so I'll figure it out.
And I was gonna play a druid, which means I would be using different
Oh yeah, I don't
probabilities and
think
different
druids
rules.
like explicitly druids don't use this method.
Druids I don't think exist in 2e. They're not listed anywhere in this book.
No, druids did exist in second edition. There was only like one of them though.
So I'm looking at wizard player characters and all of the things here, and there's nothing in this book referencing druid, I think.
So druids are a big thing in Dark Sun. Like they're the people trying to preserve or bring back the world. So they're definitely in this edition, and they definitely didn't defile, period, and they didn't need checks like this. They just got to cast spells like normal because they weren't they were like in tune with nature. Like so the Veil Alliance, if you go to page 32, that's a druid organization. And if you look at
Oh, okay, okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll leave it to you, Mr. Mike, to figure that out. Because I guess you're the only caster that's going to be playing. All right. So again, the only thing that I'm worried about is certain areas are harder to cast spells because again, there's places that have been just devastated by the defilers. All right, so that's a thing. All right, so if you guys have questions about that, just reach out to Mike. He's going to be the one handling that. All right. So
yeah, if you look on page 50, it talks about how the Earth Defenders are druids too. Yeah, so druids druids just got to pass on being able to use magic with no problem in this setting. So.
All right. Well.
So right now it sounds like Weave is the only one that needs to figure this out for his own class because he's
I'll figure this out and I'll let you know.
Oh, okay. Okay.
DM,
and if it's too complicated, I might just pass and then we'll just leave it to DM to figure out how his casters are going to do it.
Well, I kind of like what you described. That was pretty good.
DM, by the way, so how would they react to martial things? Because like he isn't magic, would they still like react to that?
Well, the magic users are basically our legal class. In Tyr, now that there's been a revolution, and there are magic users who overthrew the Kalic government, they're going to be given more leeway. Plus, a couple of the major NPCs are going to want for you guys to help out with their own agendas. For example, Mr. Riddick is going to be more of the military guy. He's the one that's going to give the orders on how the military is going to be set up. Mr. Adges, he's more of a historian above. He's a Templar type of person who's going to advocate for the god of the elements, such as fire, water, and things like that. So he's going to be, working in that area. And then you have the Veiled Alliance female, Sabrina. She's going to be the one that is going to handle the covert operations, taking over or bringing down the Sorcerer Kings from other cities. And this is kind of important because I know you guys are going to be like, well, let's just kill those Sorcerer Kings, because that's something you might think about. All Sorcerer Kings are above 20th level. So, before you start thinking you're going to start killing people, you can. I mean, I know that you guys have ways of killing high-level creatures. Anyway, so just want to make sure that you guys understand that if you do decide to mess around with the Sorcerer Kings, then you're going to have a bad time. All right, so so I've already discussed the Sorcerer Kings. Oh, I also want to mention that the government, the guards have a minimum CR level. Guards are all minimum CR 5, and then you have sergeants that are CR 10. Then you have lieutenants CR 12, and generals are CR 15. So again, because the reason that we have to have rules on this, because I can't have you guys just fucking killing all the guards and everybody in the city. So that's
No.
So I know the answer to this. Me and Weave probably do. But for the people here who are new to Dark Sun, you want to tell them the limits of what we can purchase and down?
Oh yeah. Everything. There are no magic items. That's 0. Everything else is you can buy it. For example.
So I can't buy a +1.
No +1s. The only way you're gonna have a +1 is if somebody creates it for you, or
You
you
need
find
to
it.
get me some.
What about
Get
the
me some downtime, and I can craft you this.
Yeah. So
I need my rapier back.
Isn't there a background that gives you an item? I can't remember. It's something called like is it like
Yeah, you're right. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, you do
like
get like a free magic
heirloom
item.
or something. Anyways, might be worth if anyone's picking that. I didn't plan on picking it. Like you'll need to run that by him to figure out what an appropriate. Oh, I think it's called inheritance.
is that for an artifact?
Inheritor or
Inheritor. Inheritance. You have to be rich when you make your
Yeah, I
character.
got it.
Oh, okay. Well,
You,
yeah.
you have something of great worth.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea for a new player. It says, well, my family is one of the top merchants owners of the city, and okay, that would be a interesting background. So that's totally doable. That sounds great. All right, so we're good on the magic. We're good on the backstory. When the campaign is starting, which is right after Kalek has been killed by Rikus. What else do you guys want to? Oh, I do want to mention that the government, they have their own agenda. So not only do the NPCs have their own agenda, like Aegis, Rikus, Neva, so on and so forth. The government has their own agenda, so you might want to reach out to them. Not only does the government, like the council, and I even put a little notification on what the council is all about. If you didn't read it, it's in the Discord. And then you have the factions of the city, which have their own agendas as well. For example, the mining guild, they have a pretty lucrative business with the Tier Mine, which is currently having some problems. I'll go through that when the missions get started. So for you guys that are wondering, well, what can we do? Well, you can take out the speak with the major NPCs about the themes, such as bringing back water to the planet of Athos. Uh, that's number one. Or number two is, well, we're going to kill the Sorcerer King. The Boris is, you know, if you're like kill, that's your end goal. Well, then good for you. You can work your way up to 20th level and kill him. Or if you want to explore a magical gate from an undead Sorcerer King that has beef with the other Sorcerer Kings. Again, you're native to the, Dark Sun, so this is not a secret. This particular Sorcerer King was they basically they're trying to kill him, and they failed on trying to assassinate this one Sorcerer King. So he's been kind of sulking and working on trying to avenge his assassination attempt. So that's something that you might get involved with. Again, I'm not going to flush all this guys on you right now. I just kind of want to make sure that we are good on the mechanics, such as, you know, you can't cast a spell here because the place is filled with a bunch of sand. There's no life for you to try to absorb in order for you to, you know, cast your magic missile or whatever it is that you're trying to do. So that's the important part. And then the psychic abilities, we've already spoken about that, which is the Mystic class is the only one that really can do anything. Now, in second edition, everyone in the Dark Sun world or Athos had some sort of a psychic ability. You could be a slave and just have this very minor cantrip ability, which we're not going to go through. But if you guys want to take it to that extreme, we can definitely do that. But again, the problem is that we don't have like solid psychic rules that we can just look through. So we're probably not going to end up doing anything with that. What else do you guys have questions about, Mr. Mike or Silver or the rest of you guys?
Would there be only enemies native to this area? Like, I wouldn't see like an aboleth in the water.
Well, aboleth are almost impossible to find in.
There's
this
very few places where you'll find natural water in Atlas.
Yeah.
Okay, so this area here, I'm ping it, but like where like the lake island is, like this whole water. So this isn't. It's just a salt or just water.
The Sea of Silt,
Yeah.
that's not water. That's literally silt.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, there's
no water.
Yeah, when there's very little water in Athos.
Yeah, basically, I'll just maybe give you a hard time and say, hey, you're
The
running
best
out of
way to
water.
describe this planet would be Arrakis.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know.
So I
that-
couldn't find anything like
Except,
water type
unlike
here.
Arrakis, there are still portions of forest, but a good 80 to 90% of it is like desert or wasteland.
Mhm.
Okay then.
Yeah, again, it's basically on how you guys want to reach the end goal. Do you want to be the end goal to restore the water to Athos? That's one of the themes. And the other themes are going to be like, okay, we're being invaded by these other Sorcerer Kings who do not like that Tyr has liberated itself. That's not good for the rest of the Sorcerer Kings. So, more than likely, you will be attacked by the other nations that have banks. Their own, a global bank system, whereas Tyr has its own monetary banking system. So the other banking systems are like, fuck this guy. He wants to be in charge of his own monetary for his city, which is not going to happen. All right, so you get the idea. That's something you can think about. And again, you do have a head honcho Sorcerer King who is in charge of the other Sorcerer Kings. So again, that's something you might want to think about. All right, so is this confusing for the new people? Are you kind of getting it or no? Mm-hmm.
We're getting it. I'm just hoping that we get everything out of the way now. I'm just concerned about if there's going to be any changes to 5e mechanics later. I would rather know those up front rather than you having you
No.
change them on the fly.
Yeah, no, we want to stick with the rules. Again, it's just that well, there's things that we're gonna have to get workarounds. But again, we got Mike, who's good on the lore, and you're good on the rules, so we don't have to worry about that. What else do you guys want to go over? Well, I figured we'd.
Well, we're talking here.
Oh.
Well, considering the vast majority of Athos is desert-like, that could actually be a problem.
Yeah, so if it's barren, I could just end up with like fewer spells, I guess. -2 spells per level could be kind of an issue, but I always have at least cantrips.
That's
When you say
major.
per level, does that mean at every level? So 2 less
I
level
think that
1s, 2
means
less level
2
2s,
at
2
each
less level
level.
3s?
Yeah, I think so.
Yikes.
I'll ask the
That's
Dark
a
Sun.
serious nerf.
Well, I hope you plan to 20 your intelligence quickly.
Yeah.
I know you guys are.
I can't remember, but I thought that somewhere in here, like, you could use people as energy.
Yeah. The defilers or the
Defilers did it, but I don't see it explicitly here. It might be in another book, but I'll have to look that one up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me.
You under those rules, you would never be casting 6th level or higher spells, and 5th level or lower, you'd probably have like 1 of each spell level per day.
Yeah, we'd have to find a way to get more what's it called?
Info.
More grass.
More grass.
Grass?
Yeah, you need
Grass.
lush terrain. So it looks like these rules apply at the start of the day when you prepare your spells.
Isn't there like well, look, I'm not a player, but if I was a player, I would maybe think, okay, maybe I should be a druid and try to preserve the land. And I know I have a ton of spells that I can use in order to make things easier for us, such as create.
Druid
food.
can't create vegetation; he can only grow it. So if
Yeah.
we're in the middle of a desert, he can't just make lush.
That would be
vegetation.
nice, though.
Well, there must be something in 5th edition that can.
Nope. Well, there is. It's a magic item, and it's a legendary.
As many classes that there are in 5th edition, there's nothing
There's
there.
not that many classes in 5th edition.
Is it?
No,
I
and
thought there was a
Druid would
spell
be
that
the-
made grass.
Druid would be the one, and he can do plant growth, but that doesn't grow plants out of nothingness. It grows the plants that are already there.
Well, let me get something to drink. I'll be right back. Getting
Hold
thirsty
on,
here.
So another thing, how would difficult
there's
terrain be all of the
Mythic or
desert?
Mythic? Oh, that's a mythic ability. There's like Wall of Thorns.
Or entanglement, which makes roots burst out of the ground, but that's hardly.
But do they
what we
stay,
need.
or are those magical for the
I
duration?
don't know.
And would those work the same when you're drawing energy off of them? Because if it's concentration and then they go away, I
Yeah,
wouldn't think
they
that
do-
you
they
could
do
draw
go
spell
away.
energy from that.
They do go away.
Wait, hold up. Question. So since this is all desert, how would difficult terrain work?
Same as it does currently. If the DM tells us there's an area of difficult terrain, like quicksand or something, then, or if we're in the middle of a sandstorm, he might tell us we're on difficult terrain. Sand itself isn't inherently difficult terrain.
Yeah,
All right.
which is why if you want the party to move anywhere at any decent speed, you're gonna need a ranger with us.
I hope you guys know how to fly.
I don't fly.
No,
Damn.
but I can, once we get level 3 or 4, whenever I get my steel defender, I can ride him. He has 40 feet a second, or 40 feet around move speed.
Nice. I can fly right now. But I'm just because like my whole build is kind of like moving around, so I kind of don't want to be like desert.
Yeah, that's funny because last campaign you were the one in the party that couldn't fly, and now you're on the flying train.
Well, because I could fly regardless. It's just I'd use an action too. And I didn't want to waste it usually in combat. And I could only fly my movement, but now I can just keep increasing my movement, and my fly speed will keep increasing with it.
Yeah, that's why the DM was bitching at me all last game because I was flying 90 feet every
Yeah.
round.
If
because of
I
Ellen.
if I could fly last campaign, I could have flew like 300 to 400 feet a turn. Ugh.
Well, I don't know what else gives you a fly speed equal to your move speed besides a race, so you wouldn't have had the tabaxi benefits also.
Oh yeah. Well, I had Night of I had a Shadow Monk. I had Flight of Night or something like that. It made my fly speed my movement speed. So
Yeah, no druid spells can create plants that stick around.
might as well grab some seeds and get a watering can.
Yeah, I
Just
don't
plant
think
plants
these
and-
rules are that bad because in second edition, characters did not have 18. Like having 18 of a caster attribute was insane. Like it's based around people having like 12 or 13 or
There
14.
You can start with a 17 right off the bat if
Yeah.
you choose to, so you're already not. It's not a difficult check.
Yeah, so for like the worst case, it's Baron. That's like a 50-50 chance.
Well, there's something I don't know if this would work, but I can take the druid craft cantrip, and so long as I have grass siege with me, I can spread them. And
You
make
can
them
also
sprout.
what's the name of that like I also wanted to play a Chronomancer and I think they got something where they can like reroll checks or something like this. Can't
You said
remember.
you just needed a grassy field, right?
Yeah.
How
If
big?
it's real grass.
I mean, there's a third level spell called Plant Growth. You can
No,
use that as well.
No. How big does it need to be?
I think it's like 5 feet per level of the spell. Oh no, it's 1 yard. It's the spell level plus 1 yards. So a yard is like 3 feet.
So
Yeah,
what-
a Chronergy wizard can force a reroll. The Lucky Feet can force a reroll. A halfling has halfling luck. There's a few different ways you could get a reroll. Once I hit like level 7, I think I'll have Flash of Genius and can give you a D4 your roll.
if you need nature or something to get your spells,
It looks like it says you can't actually harm creatures, living beings in the area feel pain, which translates into a 1-round initiative penalty equal to the level of the spell cast for 1 action. So I guess it says there's 2 ways you can either do defiling like just at the start of the day and then you calculate it and then you can move on with this with it, or you can actually like when you're in battle calculate it at every time you cast a spell, which seems way more tedious, so I probably won't do that. Also, the initiative thing won't really work here because like there's no surprise round in 5e, and
There is.
there's a surprise condition.
Yeah.
So, but it's after
it's
initiative
round
roll.
1 of combat.
Yeah, so unless we like made this reduce their initiative in order or something, I don't see how this is feasible. So
you would have needed you would need the grassy plain to get your spells.
so when I prepare spells for the day, I make a check. And that check is easier to make if I'm in grass.
Yeah, if you can give them a grassy surface, that would be fertile at least, it looks like. Reading this
Because
chart.
what I can always do is I can replace one of my cantrips right now with Druidcraft and buy a bunch of grass seeds and just make them sprout with cantrips.
Yeah, there's probably going to be some weird way to cheese this, but
Admittedly, it would be like, in order for me, I would spend like an hour making sure he can prep his spells.
Just
using
buy a bunch
cantrip.
of little potted saplings and then every morning we'll go lay them out across whatever radius he needs, and then you cast plant growth. And then
I can't use plant growth until like 3rd level.
Well, yeah, this
That's
is
a,
a
that's
later.
a third. That's a 3rd level spell.
So the other thing is I can actually get bonus spells if the check is good enough, it looks like. So like for fertile, if I roll under, what was it, like int -8, so I roll a d20, like let's say I have 18 int, that if I get more than a 10, I would get 2 bonus spells per level,
See,
which is
here's where I
insane.
think this chart's not going to translate to 5e, because if it's +3 spells at every spell level in lush terrain, and it's a 12, you have a 60% chance of having 4 9th level spellcasts in a day, and that's going to totally break everything.
Yeah,
So
well, that's why there aren't any there are very little places. I think it says here, like
even +1, which you can get, and Baron at a 50% chance once you hit 20.
Yeah, it's broken. It's broken because the ability scores in 2nd edition were like rolled. They weren't point bought. That's why
Yeah.
this is.
I'm just seeing if I also think the spell level scaling has changed in a manner where if you get +1 spell of every spell level, once we get to 9th level spells, that it's just gonna break everything.
Let me
You're
just
gonna get 2 wishes
verify.
a day, or like 2 power word kills a day. And if we're even in fertile, which seems doable with some trickery, you could get 3
Yeah, we might.
9th level spells a day.
Let me like look here. It says. It says gains extra spells per day. Note the filer spends only 5 minutes per level of each spell during memorization. So okay. Yeah, so I also think that in 2nd edition you got a lot fewer spells. Let me. Yeah, so I mean. Okay, here's an example. If you go to example 3 on page 13, it says, should he decide he wants to pull power from his spells when he memorizes them, add 1. Okay, thus, if he had a 5th level spell, he'd receive his normal complements of spells per day. He would memorize 4 first level, 2 second, 1 third. If he were in a scrub terrain, okay.
That's just talking about the damage difference for his
Okay.
casting. I'm just not sure that the spell levels are translating to 5e cleanly. I think it's going to break.
Okay,
some
well,
things.
we can just do like +3 spells, period. That's fine. Yeah, that is a
You
little
mean
bit.
+3 spell levels? So like 3 first level spell slots, or a level 2 and a level 1, or 1 level 3?
Yeah,
slot?
yeah, whatever. Yeah.
That
Yeah, I
seems
think
more
because
balanced to
in
me.
2nd edition, the way and I think third edition, the way it worked is like you would you'd have a certain number of spell slots. You would prepare in those spell slots, whereas in like 5th edition, it's like you have a certain number of spells per day. You pick a number of prepared spells, and then you can slot those prepared. You can use any of those prepared spells as in those for those slots, right? So yeah, I think this is spells. Yeah, I don't know. I'll find out. It's either like you get
Why don't
plus
we do
that
it?
many
Why
spells.
don't we do it like this? Because I think it'll break less things mechanically. Instead of -1 spell per level, +3 spell per level, why don't we say -1 prepared spell, +3 prepared spells? Then we're not
Yeah,
changing
that's what I
spell
was getting
slots, so
at.
we're not breaking 5e, but you get a little more flexibility or a little less flexibility in your spell selection based
Yeah,
on your check.
Yeah, is the DM here?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's an issue with this, which is that um because of the way that second edition didn't do point buy, this is going to completely break your game because I have like more than a 50% chance most of the time of getting like anywhere between 2 additional spells and 20 additional spells, which will be a big problem. Or on the other end, and early levels, there's a high chance I get no spells at all. So the what is being suggested is, and this happens not only because of the point buy, but also because the way that preparing spells in second edition is different than in fifth edition. So the suggestion is that instead of doing spells per level, it's just spell slots period for the day. Does that
No,
sound
spells
reasonable to you?
prepared, not spell slots.
Yeah, spells prepared.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's fine. So we're looking at the graph right now. So can you give me an example of a first level or a 10th level guy in
Okay.
the Silt C? And again, if you're 10th level, it's spell level
Okay, so
either
if
4
you're
or
if
5.
you're 10th level and you're in the Silt Sea, that is barren terrain.
You've gotten two
Uh,
ASIs, so you could
Isn't that
yeah,
theoretically
so
have 20
at 10th
already.
level, I would probably have what 20. I start at 17, probably have 20, 19, 21 intelligence. Okay.
You can't have a 21 naturally. So
Okay, so I would have
cap at
I'd
20.
have a 20. Okay. I have a 20 intelligence at level 10. Um, I would roll a d20, and if I had at least a 10, I would get uh +1 spells, prepared spells for that day. If I got between a um 11 and a 13, I would have the same number of spells that per day as I normally have. And if I got greater than a 13, I would lose 2 prepared spells for that day.
Oh, okay, okay. Everybody, the rest of you guys understand what he's talking about?
Yeah, that was my suggestion to him. This is going to break the game mechanically a lot less because spell slots are so different between the two systems. It was just not working mechanically.
Yeah, so the alternative uh would end up meaning like what at level 10, I think I have access to what, 4th level spells?
Level 10th, you would as a sorcerer or mage.
I think they have the same. Like sorcerer, I think it's like I think for sorcerer it's what, 4th level spells? Or wizard?
The spell scaling for full casters is the same across all full casting classes.
Isn't it
Okay, so at 10th level I would have access to 4th level spells. So as written, and this is why it's kind of broken, um, I think what would happen is I would have, if I got less than a 10, I would get 4 extra spells, one at every level. So I'd have 4 extra spells. Or alternatively, if I failed it, I got greater than a 13, I think I would lose 2 spells at every level, which would mean I have 0 4th level spells, and I'd only have 3 spells per day. Uh, uh, three. I'd lose basically most of my spells.
And then when you get up to 9th level spells, you could have 4 9th level spells in a day if you prepared
Exactly.
Rush,
And then when
which is
you got
4
at
meteor
higher level,
swarms or 4 power word kills, and things would just get absolutely crazy
yes.
busted.
So at higher levels, like I would just be able to cast like 9th level spells all day long. So the suggestion is to just do instead of spells per level, you just do spell slots spell slots per day, and that's gonna prevent it from
Spells
being
prepared per day. Not
yeah,
slots.
sorry, spells prepared. Is gonna prevent it from being completely ridiculous.
So
But
it's a little more of a flavor thing. He's going to lose a little bit of his flexibility throughout the day because in the morning he's going to have to choose to prepare a certain number of spells, and he's going to have less options than to cast for the day. But the spell slots, which are the more mechanically broken aspect, we're leaving alone for the integrity of the game.
Okay, so he memorizes his spell in the morning. When he casts his spell, does it matter if
No.
he's in the desert or in a lush
No,
area?
he's going to do this check when he memorizes in the morning. And if he fails the check, he'll be able to memorize less spells for that day.
Yeah, this
If
is
he
method
super
1.
succeeds,
It's on
he'll get
page 13.
Oh, okay. All right, so just to make sure I've got it right, you in the morning you get in a fertile area to where you're not going to have any problems memorizing your spells, and then you can be in the middle of nowhere where there's no vegetation whatsoever. You can still cast that spell without any
Yeah, so if
restrictions.
I'm in the middle of nowhere, I have to make the Baron check.
Okay, yeah, that's
Well,
fine.
and when you prepare, the DM
when
is
you
saying
prepare the spells.
later when you cast, he's yes, DM, that's what we're talking about. If we start doing it every time he has to cast a spell, this whole chart is going to break because we can't do spell and memorization modifications in the middle of the day every time he tries to cast.
So there's another method which is in the which is like in combat. So you can pick. The book says you get to pick. You could either do the off stage method, which is suggested because you don't have to like constantly do checks in the middle of combat. Or the second method is in play, where they memorize their spells as usual, but they don't have to tap into the energy source at that time. Instead, when they need to cast a spell, they have to gather energy in the moment. But the problem with that is that it looks like what happens modifies initiative of enemies or something. Like it imposes initiative penalties, but like in 5th edition, you roll initiative at the start. So I don't know what that
Okay.
means.
Well, basically, I was just wondering whether casting the spell was going to be an issue. If again you memorize the spell in the morning, you make your check, everything's fine. You got all the spells that you needed. But when you are in the middle of the desert and there's no plant life for you to draw from, you still have to make another check. Am I correct on that? Just wanted to
Not another. If we're resting in a barren landscape and we exit the long rest and we're in that barren landscape, that's when he memorizes spells and he's gonna have to make that barren check for the start of that day. So it depends on where we're resting.
Oh, okay. So when yeah, okay. So he's in a lush area because you want to make sure you have your spells as needed for the day. But when you're up against a sandworm in the middle of the silt sea, there is no check that you have to make in order for you to cast.
Yeah,
Is that
the
correct?
check is made when you prepare your spells for the day. That's the way this is written.
Okay.
So if you're in the desert and like we're out in an adventure and we're stuck in the middle of the desert, like the check is harder to make because there's not really any plant life around. That's the barren
Right,
check.
right. Yeah.
Whereas if we're sitting in the middle of, Tithian's garden, right? There's another aspect here where you destroy the plant life when you defile. So like if someone has a nice garden, they're not going to take a lot of respect to you like burning it away.
So I have a question. Since you guys are going to be out in the middle of nowhere in the morning, how are you going to make sure that you're, replenishing your spells? Because again,
Makes the
You make
check.
the check.
yeah,
It's
It's
just a
on
harder
page
check.
12.
it's not that hard of a check. Okay, well that's okay. Well then that's all I care about. All right, so we're good on that. You guys have that down. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and it doesn't apply to me since I'm a druid.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's given that it's only applying to weave, it seems like a lot of extra overhead for the game that it seems unnecessary to me.
We'll have to
Well-
remind him every time I make spell checks, but we'll handle it.
Well, I mean, technically in second edition, when you cast a spell is when you actually drew from the plants around you. In the
It's on page 13. So
wow.
you can read it, and it says method 1 offstage. In this method, a wizard taps on the energy source at the time they memorize spells. This is usually done outside of game time and is the standard procedure set forth in the Dark Sun rulebook.
Oh, yeah.
As long as enough time in the campaign world is set aside, the wizard studies, memorizes, and draws energy for the number of spells he is allowed.
All right, we're good on that. That's good. We come to a conclusion over how that's going to work.
I do
so-
have a bit of a question. How's the druid gonna feel about you sucking the life out of the plants around them?
Are you the fire druid?
I'm not a fire druid.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is potentially an issue.
You can kill
Um,
them in the middle of the night. That's not a problem.
Hey, I would say just kill him.
Yes, kill 'em. That's not a
Kill
problem.
him.
Yeah, if it's a major issue, I can always make a non-caster character. I'm not like married to this idea, so just let me know, like, or we can figure out something. I don't know.
Or just
No, no,
apparently
you-
be any caster that's not a wizard, because it seems like these rules are kind of specific to
No,
that.
I mean,
This
you
all
have
seems kind of hacked together.
we have to have a caster. I mean, there's no way around that.
We have the druid's a caster. I'm a caster, but neither of us follow these defiler rules because
Well,
we're
I mean,
not casting the same way. So it just seems like unnecessary complication on one single person's class.
This
well,
this came up the last time we did Dark Sun 2. We had someone who wanted to play a druid, and I was a caster. And I feel like the way we resolved it was like, my character promised him like
Just kill
something,
him.
and then we just went from there. But anyways, it's whatever.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
let me know and we'll figure it out. What kind
Well,
of
that's
druid is
why
it?
I offered a solution, sort of. Like, I can buy grass seeds and I can grow you feed every day with druid craft cantrips. Admittedly, that'd be me spending an hour every day to make sure you don't harm nature, and I'd essentially
Got to do
be
that every.
feeding you grass.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, look, I
But
think,
it would mean that it would be the same as feeding grass to an animal. But
well, look. The important part is that you guys don't die. That's very. Let's make sure you understand that
Oh, just kill each other.
the encounters are going to be as hard as usual. So if you're selling yourself short, that's not my problem. That's your problem.
So for our first mission, are you gonna throw like a CR8
That's
creature at
not
us?
my problem. That's your problem. We already know how I run things. So plan accordingly. Okay, guys? So don't.
yeah, guys, plan our level 1 characters.
Don't-
accordingly.
Yep, we're planning it.
I don't
I
wanna
can't
hear
wait.
it.
I can't wait for my CR8 creature to
I
come
don't
kill
want
me
to
in the
hear
first
about
campaign.
how somebody.
Yeah, why don't you
did-
just load yourself up with magic items in the no magic item setting and you're level 1 person? Come on.
That's you.
Have you played D&D?
How can you afford all this? Question number one. All right. Well, I think we're.
Rob the bank.
Yeah. Well, I think you said your family's rich or something. I can't remember. All right.
I
You can always
I
get more
inherited
money.
a Spelljammer. It's out in the middle of the desert.
Oh, Mr. Mike. So just to double check, spell jamming is. I couldn't find any references for the spell jammer, but there is a possibility of a spell jamming.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's in a module in
You
second
can
edition.
enter with a spelljammer.
Yeah.
From what I
Yeah.
understand, you just can't leave.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's actually debated amongst Dark Sun people, like if you can leave or not, because there are ways to leave if you make checks for casting, but because there was only that one module where they came in and then they died, it's sort of like left open if you can leave with a Spelljammer or not. So.
Oh, okay.
Another question I have is, if I have a character who comes from a different plane through some bizarre backstory, can I pick the like Dragonlance feats backgrounds or the like? I think there's some other Wizards of the Coast ones that are
Technically,
official.
You can make it through the Shadow Realm into the Dark Sun because Dark Sun is connected to the Shadow Realm. So you could make an argument saying that, look, I went from the Forgotten Realms to the Shadow Realm, and then they mentioned a connection to the Dark Sun, and you can have that connection through that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was thinking of maybe there's like a race of elf that lives in the astral plane and they spell jam, and I was considering like a backstory where my character went through like had a spell jammer and he crash landed it out in the desert,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Of
something
course.
like that.
Yeah, not a problem. As a matter of fact, the guys destroyed the spell jamming realm in the Forgotten Realms because they wouldn't do the right thing. So, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I wouldn't say destroyed.
Well, they had a mission to go to one of the Gith cities for one of their gods. I forgot the name of it. Anyway, the gods were like, "We're not gonna go there because it's too much trouble." And my
No, let's be clear. We had to go work for the Gith, and our party were not all morally ambiguous enough to battle the good guys on behalf of the Gith, so we declined.
all right.
And
So,
now the DM's gonna of all the bullshit you give us about not having morals, we declined that on moral
Decline.
grounds, and now you're giving us bullshit about that?
well, I mean, you declined the
Yeah, because
mission.
you wanted us to fight the good guys on the Gith ships. You wanted us to work for the Gith and kill the good guys. And Avanar said, "No, I'm not down with that. I'm good character. I can't sign up for that."
Well,
Oh, there
yeah.
was normal Nelson stuff. Hey, I have a quick question on what was this? To make a new character, I haven't used Foundry in a while. Do I just like, do you need to give me a character or can I just make one in the create actor
Yeah,
area?
Create.
Yeah.
There's two ways you can have it imported from D&D Beyond, or you can just be like me and make it through Plutonium. On your
Okay, I
sheet.
have a D&D Beyond character, so is it like import stat block or something?
There's a little when you create new character, so you get a blank sheet. You have to give it a name. There's going to be a little D&D Beyond icon at the very top of that character sheet.
Oh, okay.
When you click on that, it's just going to ask for the URL to your D&D Beyond character sheet.
Okay, cool beans.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, I'm not gonna go through the government stuff until you guys decide to actually go and visit the council for any kind of governmental assignments. As far as you guys knowing the major NPCs, again, you can make whatever backstory you want. You could be part of their crew, or you have your own business in the city of Tyr. Again, doesn't matter, really matter, unless you have Mike's character, which is he got here through the Shadow Realm. That might be a little complicated, but that's not gonna really affect.
Well, I
him,
could
but-
be here for a while, and I've been friends with, I don't know, is there like some kind of wizard group? Maybe I have to be a part of like Tithian's crew or something, or because like they don't just let us walk around, right?
Well, I mean, you know that the Veiled Alliance caters to magic users. I don't know if you're a magic user.
Oh yeah, but they explicitly hate. They're like a
Of the-
druid organization. They
Right,
hate
right. Yeah, yeah.
wizards.
True. You can you can speak with Titan. Tithian.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is
Yeah.
I might have to. Maybe Tithian likes me because like the Spelljammer is made of metal or whatever.
Are
So
you
maybe
gonna-
like they've been trying to find an expedition, but they
Oh.
can't find it or
you
something
gonna-
like that.
Are you going to play the Antichrist for this campaign as well, or
No, I've decided I that was fine for one time,
okay.
but maybe murdering all those people. I'll let someone
That's
else
what I'm gonna do.
take the lead here as far as deciding how we're doing it.
Yeah. Well,
Unless no one wants to take the lead, in which case I can do it again.
Murder.
Well, your mom worked
Well,
really hard on trying to, make
Iridescence and I don't tend to be social leads, and Alstor is
I can be a
chaotic.
social lead if it has to come down to it.
I
but
wouldn't say I'm
prefer not.
chaotic. I would say that I
Alstor,
am.
Alstor is chaotic barbarian mode social lead, if that's what you want.
I could also just play a bard if people want me to play a bard. I could do that too.
No, please
Play
let me
a
talk. I promise good things will happen.
Play a bard.
We will play a game of Pokemon where he goes and captures all the monsters in the desert.
Hey,
There's
I'm
apparently
down to
20 level
capture us
spells
anywhere.
in this Dark Sun book. I wonder what these are. Is it like Apocalypse? Let's see.
What book are you referring to?
In the book you sent me, there's a few 10th level spells.
Oh, yeah.
Advanced Domination,
Well, I mean, there are second edition spells.
Defiler Metamorphosis, a bunch of oh, I think that one of these books has a time travel spell in it.
Yeah, I don't
Um,
think we're going to be using the second edition specific spells because then you're going to use stuff like Quiet Storm and bend the game over your knee.
Oh yeah, I had a 3.5 game where Slevin used Quiet Storm to immediately destroy like this Dragon King in like a single turn, and he did like over 1,000 something damage to him. It was fairly anticlimactic.
Yeah. All right. Well, by the way, Mr. Mike, if you do want to speak with Tithian, he will have his own kind of storyline.
Okay, yeah. No, I would, yeah, if he's in my backstory, it's just very, like, I maybe worked for him at some point, or like, he has some reason that I haven't been killed.
All
Like,
right.
I wouldn't impose anything on that. So just,
Well, I'll throw you some things.
I just have to come up with a reason that I'm not dead. Because the Dark Sun people don't like defilers, so.
Well, yeah, that's true. Again, you
Um,
don't have to be openly showing off your defiling skills, so it's not completely impossible for you to be a defiler. Again, just don't be showing off that you're defiling the lands around you, and everybody should be okay. What was that, Mister Silver?
and there could be two different things here.
Yeah. So, Mike, just to let you know, these guys are, well, actually, I shouldn't. Yeah, forget it. I was just going to call them a bunch of murder hobos, but nah, I've already done that too many times. All right, so,
I mean, every time we tried to not be murder hobos, you didn't give us a choice, so we had to do murder hobos.
no, you had, they had a choice to save Sigil, but they decided to not do it.
But you railroaded us into such a position that they just didn't
That's
have a
not
choice.
that is not what a hero would say, sir. You should say, "Hey, I think I have a plan to turn this place around." That's what
We
a
said we were
hero
heroes.
Yeah,
it's
but
either-
you railroaded them to the to. I was there when
well, a
you reintroduced
hero,
us, and you railroaded them to the point where
hero
there's
doesn't-
nothing they can really do.
the hero does not know that there are barricades for him to turn the city around, which is what you should have done, but you didn't. And
Yes,
you're,
but the
yeah, that's because
situation you presented them
yeah,
didn't give them the option.
that yeah, of course you can't overcome any obstacles because you just can't think of
Something,
what to
something.
do.
Every NPC city you run is a commie hellhole, and we get bored and move on to better things.
Well, you're not supposed to get bored. You're supposed to save the city. That's what.
Don't make every city a commie hellhole, and we won't get bored of them.
All right. Well, any other?
Do you remember Flan Weave?
Oh yeah, I remember many flans.
Yeah,
They all
this
ended
whole-
up the same way.
Yeah, his whole last campaign was just a repeat of the same stuff. Just every city was another flan where everyone was useless and corrupted and a waste of our time. And we're
Not
just like,
everyone's
this is boring. Let's go somewhere else.
Superman. Not everybody.
So what's really funny about the Flan storyline is that I've seen this about 4 times, where like people make like the college try to fix it,
I
and then
did.
they just get irritated at some point and they just go
Yeah.
off to another plane.
Look, I built Eldor. I gave him a backstory in Flan. I made him committed to the Flan cause, and then I just got beat down week after week by the DM's dumb NPCs, and I just gave up and joined you guys. I'm like, let's go to Thay because this
Yeah,
place sucks dick.
I remember there being some guy that was like we killed a demon out in the street and he arrested us.
Yep.
And got
Yeah, his
real
sheriff.
mad that we killed the succubus.
Yep, his sheriff arrested us and was about to imprison a few of you, and we all just teleported out, and we're like, yeah, fuck this shit.
It
Well,
was funny. I think the NPC may have been corrupt,
yes,
but
he
it
was
was still
corrupt.
very funny.
He was just like every other NPC we were going to
Well, you're
encounter
supposed
because
to-
everyone's corruptible in every city and every NPC is a useless idiot.
Well, that's true. That's why we have the Democrats in charge. All right. Well, other than that, what for you new guys? Do you have any other questions, such as how are we going to get water and things like that?
Hey, Druid.
Water. Yeah.
Druid, did
you
you
mean
create? Did you take create water?
I can cast create food and water if I need to.
Done,
Yeah,
easy.
this is one of the things. Is like I remember I ran
I
a
can
Dark
prepare
Sun
it if I
game?
choose to at the beginning of the day. Heck,
And
I can prepare it at the beginning of the day and then rest for 4 hours and prepare another spell.
All right. Do you
I
still-
remember
well,
like
You can only
having
take
all
one
these
long
rules
rest
for
per
heat
24 hours.
exhaustion, and some caster just like created a magic steed and ran him through the desert. Didn't even matter.
Phantom Steed. I can also just create a magic item, that jug of alchemy or whatever, that can just create whatever liquids we need.
Yeah, apparently we're gonna have somebody create magic items every week. I got it. Gotcha. All right. Well, so does everybody have the cheat ready for next week, or they're still
I
thinking
would
about
prefer everyone to just buy their stuff so I don't have to waste my spell slots making food and water for them.
My sheet is
I mean,
done in
my
D&D
sheet's
Beyond.
done.
I just need to import it in here.
Yeah.
My sheet's been done since like 2
Yeah.
weeks ago.
Yeah, mine's been. I've been waiting.
I got mine imported today.
Oh,
now that I
okay,
got the
okay.
questions answered that I needed to know.
All right. So I see a bear, Ludwig, and Nahat. All right. So
Nahuatl.
Nahuatl. Okay. Now, do we have what's your character, Mister?
There's also Chad Maticus.
Let me go to D&D Beyond. Let me just see if I can import them real quick here.
Oh, okay.
Maybe we can do we all meet in the tavern
Oh,
setup.
Mr. Squid, what's do you have your guy done already?
Yep.
What was his name?
Bread.
Oh, he's a bird guy. Okay, I got you. All right. All right. Do we need more people, or we're good on people?
I think we're good.
We got 5 people
It's funny because
or 4.
I dragged my new thing in there, but it's got my old name.
Oh,
Alright.
All right.
Where does it have your old name?
Nahuatl.
I
you
think
drag the
I think
token
my
on there, it's got my
character is
old
in
name.
here.
Prototype
After
token.
we-
Bruno.
Yeah.
Oh,
after
I'll fix
okay.
that.
All right. Lavagna's not gonna play, right? Am I correct on that?
Correct. She can't commit to every Sunday for this
All right.
campaign.
And who else is not showing up? Mr.
Avenar's out,
Avanar,
and
okay.
our Chowda is out.
Not chowder.
Okay, so right now we have 4. So I
Yep.
think we might need.
Everyone here is pretty much who's playing.
All right, so I
We
think
need another one.
should. Well, basically, I'm asking, should I recruit 2 more people? Is what I'm asking.
Not 2 more. I think we've.
I would maybe recruit at least one more. That way, if someone's gone, you can run a game.
Yeah.
With his history, though, he'll recruit 2, and 1 or 2 of them will leave in a week or 2. So
Well, yeah. Well, that's normal. That's not uncommon. That's normal.
Yeah, he's got a dropout rate of like 80%.
Well, that's not my fault. It's those shitty
it is a
people,
little. You chase people off with your
Well,
they-
drunken.
well, the other
rants.
thing is that the DM always plays like every single week, and I just feel like a lot of people end up having like life changes or whatever. They can't commit.
Hey,
So
I've been a
some of it
stalwart
is
for the last 2
maybe
years.
a thing with him, but I think a big portion of it is just people like I had a baby and then I started college again, so I was not super able to play for a while. So yeah, I should be good for at least the next few months. I'll have to see what happens after that. So yeah.
I'll get more people.
Yeah, maybe start recruiting. Don't over recruit, and we'll see who stays around.
All right, all right, all right. So we're good on the rules and mechanics, psychic abilities or his magical abilities as well. Not gonna go into the politics until you guys decide to make friends. You already saw the mission roster. I'll go into details on a couple of them if you want.
We'll just need to
To do
find
it.
out.
Actually, hold up. The one mission, what is the Sacred Temple one? Is that like?
Well,
You're just-
you know what? I'll just go through it because I kind of want to start running this next Sunday. Anyway, the Sacred Temple, since you already know that the gods technically are only elemental, which are water and earth, and the other one's air and fire. All right, so the Templars' help would be, since you already know that not everyone can cast, create water. They're going to need for the Templars to go out and search for more supplies of water, since they know that an eventual war with Uruk is going to happen. Again, the other Sorcerer Kings are not going to like this city of Tyr has gone rogue or democratic, I guess you can call it.
Hey, what is where are the list of these quests, by the way?
Yeah, if you click on the little banner on the left side, journal notes, and then quest log. Now, I haven't filled out the whole routine, but I'll do it now. So did you find it?
Journal,
Journal,
and
then it's got that little scroll that says quest log on the right side. So you click
oh,
on
I see it.
and then you click
I
on
got it.
and then you just click on available. Bug hunt is basically just kill. Now, as I've already mentioned, the monster loot is gonna be very helpful for people that want to grab resources from specific monsters that they might want
That-
to use for
That
armor.
being said, do you want to reshare links or Weave? Do you want to go into DM screen channel and save
Yeah.
those last 5 links that he posted so that we can access
Oh,
them?
I got you.
Yeah, just
Yeah, I need access to all this shit too.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I would always just ignore what he posted because I'm not signing into Google for any of that.
Okay. Yeah, I will take it on the chin for the
there's
for
nothing
the
wrong with the
team.
PDF. If I could figure out how to upload to a neutral link, I would, but I don't.
When you upload to Google Drive, there's like a sharing option that says only people with this link.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's what I thought.
and then you don't need there's no request for access. The downside is if someone sends that link somewhere, then you could have like 1,000 people looking at a document you don't want people to see. So
Oh, okay. All right. Well, are you gonna handle that, Mr. Dude?
yeah, I can handle it once you go to your email access.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Email.
Yeah, we just need to burn out why the wizard's going with the druid.
Share.
So I think my
I already-
character
I
might
already told you
be.
the answer to that.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
I like this Templar's help or the Uruk surveillance one look kind of neat. What is looking for a friend?
That's
You know what that is.
Yeah. Well, that's
Does Adrena just need like a one night stand or something?
no. That's a cloak and dagger mission to the city of Uruk.
Okay.
By the Veld Alliance.
I see.
Uh,
So maybe my character backstory is I was like working for the dragon and then he died and now like I need a new crew to run with because he's gone. Man, that might be an interesting backstory.
Okay, I gave you the okay on all the
Sure,
monsters?
yeah, I got them all.
Okay.
All right, what did you want again? The monster loot?
Yeah, the guys are gonna ask you about that because they don't want to download. So they're gonna say something like, "Oh, he's got an Ankhead mission for the bug hunt." Well,
Oh, okay.
what is the Ankhead? Can I get like some scale armor from the Ankhead? And you're gonna look it up, and you're gonna tell them.
Oh, sweet. This book has like lists of like eating body parts of demon lords.
That sounds interesting. Let me know about that one.
Like
All right.
heart of Baphomet, when consumed, you can cast teleport once.
Well, all that is,
Um,
is an
We have to
option
find
for
and
the
kill
guys.
and loot and Baphomet first. But
The height of Demogorgon can be crafted into a set of light armor, which gives you resistance to cold fire, lightning. 2 sets of armor can be crafted with this height, and you gain a swim speed of 50.
that's pretty
Yeah,
nice.
all that good stuff is
Yeah,
available.
it's
So,
funny that there's nothing to swim in.
so I just kind of want to really.
I mean,
yeah.
you can swim in sand.
What's the creature name that we're supposed to kill?
Oh, I haven't made up my mind yet. I want to see if we have a bunch of flying idiots. Well, no,
Flying? Wait a minute.
well, here's the thing: if the whole group is a bunch of Anacocras, then I'm not gonna put a fucking worm.
You know what? Yeah,
that
you should
has-
put a worm.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
worm
that's
that has no way to reach the flying guys.
Ree,
So,
players can
yeah.
fly. Ree.
You can fly. No.
So yeah, I don't know what the guys are playing, and if they're playing a bunch of flying guys, then there's no need for me to put a
I think
A
I'm
non-ranged.
not playing a flying guy, but I think there are maybe flying folks.
No, well, I know.
One.
Yeah, I know
I'm
the
not
guy.
flying.
One person,
What?
only one
There's-
person in the party is flying right now.
I'm not flying. What?
Yes, you are.
Shut up.
Well, you see how you see what I got to deal with. I got a bunch of cheese heads here.
I mean,
Hey, you
think there's
said
at
that you
least
could
two
play
or-
anything.
yeah.
Well, doesn't
Is
mean
it
that I have to
Wayne
like it.
playing,
Doesn't
or
mean
is
that I have
it,
to like it.
you may have to deal with one flyer, I think. right now.
Well,
That's
I'll
about it.
bitch at him all day long. All right, now.
What freaking flyer?
Yeah. So the bug hunt is basically again, it's a bug hunt, and I'll figure out what monster you'll have to kill. Halfling's Pride is about a halfling or a group of halflings that have been
Halfling's
outcast.
Pride.
Yeah, it's the second mission. So they've been outcast, and they might or
Do we
might not.
need to get flags?
Well, they might or might not be thieves. Again, that's
Okay.
up to you
Well,
guys to.
that's a step up. Normally cannibals, so
Yeah, they're cannibals. That's why they're a bit of outcast. Doesn't mean that they're lepers. People will still talk to them.
They're
But-
trans cannibals.
yeah,
Get
but
it right. They
it's
got to
not-
have their pride.
Yeah, it's not,
So
yeah. Well,
yeah.
they people might have an aversion to them.
maybe we can join the halflings and help them cannibalize the city.
Well,
What?
there's more than enough missions for you guys to just ignore that halfling pride. Looking for a friend is a undercover cloak and dagger mission to the city of
bug
Uruk.
hunt. Bug.
And then Sacred Temple is basically the elemental, the Veil's Lions, and the elemental clerics that have nothing to do now that the Sorcerer King has been vanquished. Mr. What is his name? Dalek. He's been killed. So the Templars that are in the city have nothing to do now. So they have to, organize and maybe set them out to look for water supplies because the city's gonna be growing steadily since they're gonna have more merchants in this city. Templars' help is something pretty much the same thing. The Templars are gonna have to unite and try to figure out what the goal is for the city, such as, we need more water, we need more food, we need more farmlands. So they're gonna, have a little say in that. Uruk Surveillance is a military mission. Since there is going to be Uruk is going to respond now that Dalek is dead. They're not going to want to have the other cities, have a democracy. That's not going to work for the Sorcerer King. So that shit's going to have to stop. And Uruk and the other sorcerers are probably going to unite and try to kill you guys. All right, so and then Wanted Man is just a sheriff mission. Again, if you guys don't feel like getting involved with a big picture, such as bringing water into the city and making farmlands and making the city grow. Or if you don't want to defend the city because again it's going to be attacked, Uruk is going to respond. I've already mentioned that too many times. Or I know you guys are a bunch of murder hobos. You're probably going to turn your back on the city. Probably, more than likely. You can go ahead and either be a nasty little weasel and speak with Thenic, Thithian, that will more than likely have some not good ideas. You know, he is the next Sorcerer King. They're not always the nicest people. All right, and that's when Mr. Mike is gonna, be his little toady, probably more than likely, and then you guys are probably gonna have to kill Mike eventually because he works for the dark side of the Force. All right, so you get an idea, and then there's again you go to the taverns, and I give you the missions such as somebody's hearing some noises coming from the cellar, so on and so forth. You already know my routine. And again, you can say, "Well, fuck this city. We're not even going to stay here. Let's just get the hell out of here. Let's go to Uruk and work with them, and maybe kill Uruk because we hate him, or whatever. I don't know what you want to do, but there's a lot of ways you guys can take.
DM in Dark Sun. I don't know if it's like Ravenloft where there's like an insanity part of it. Is there?
No, it's more like Mad Max. People you have to do whatever it is that you got to do. There's no gods that are gonna save you. There's no magical abilities are not really gonna be something that you want to show off because again, sorcerers are considered, or magic users are considered defilers. So you might, you could be a magic user, but you're not gonna start casting spells in front of everybody. Or again, you can, choose to liberate the other cities and maybe kill Bore, the lead Sorcerer King.
So I'm looking at Bug Hunt. There's no description. Can you give me a description for it?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I don't know. Again, if you guys are a bunch of flying hobos, I'm not gonna put a
we only have one flying guy in our party, only one.
Well, he might be a problem. So he probably can stun while he's flying as a range attack. I don't know. He could probably do that.
Yeah, all right. Now you sound delusional.
With a ranged attack. Calm down.
Now you sound delusional.
Calm down, DM.
Come on, man.
Well,
we're not even. We're level 1. We don't even get stunned until level 5.
I don't know. I mean, you guys might be researching and saying, "Oh, I got this one unstoppable character."
I have this one spell. It's called my fist.
Well,
yeah.
All right. Well, again, it's up to you guys to plan accordingly. I'm gonna run the same campaign that I've always run, which is challenging. And again, if you are not planning appropriately, then if you die, that's not my problem. That's your problem.
Oh no, our first level character is killed by the CR5 creature.
I mean, it's possible.
Whatever will I do?
I mean, you're only the most hit points you could probably have as a
is 10.
Like 8 or 10 maybe. So that's
what I got. A solid 10.
I mean, 10 is kind of low. I mean,
or level 1. What did you expect?
Well, I'm just saying, just plan things out. Hopefully, you won't die, and you should be fine. And again,
what is Wanted Man?
Wanted Man is you guys talking to the sheriff and me coming up with a very elaborate wanted person that you're gonna have to hunt down and bring back or kill.
Hey guys, what do you want to bet the sheriff ends up being corrupted?
Yeah, he'll be a Democrat.
The city has been liberated. Everybody's in a good mood, people. There's hope for City of Tyr. If you guys maybe don't turn your back on the city, you should be fine. So, but I don't think so. I think you guys are going to turn your back on the city because you guys suck. No, I'm kidding. That's a joke. All right, so we're good, right? Am I correct on saying everybody's good?
Yeah, I
Yep.
think there's an interest in maybe doing the bug hunt from Guy over here.
Oh, okay, okay. All right,
Yeah.
so yeah, the bug hunt. If that's the case, we can we can do something today if you guys want, or like, nah, we'll just start next week.
It's up to you. I mean, technically, I can start now. I've got 2 character sheets ready.
Let me go grab a drink real quick and use the bathroom, and then you guys decide. I'm good to play for like a few hours. I have a lot of work to do, but if people want to play, I'll play. So
Well, it's a vote.
I don't
Does-
mind
We
playing
can-
if people want to do it today.
Well, I was gonna say we can at least probably RP like the getting the mission and preparing, and then we can either start out mechanically or not.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. We'll do that. Mr. Mike will tell us when it's time to stop because he's got to do stuff, and then that'll be it.
I'm gonna go use the restroom then while he gets.
All
his
right.
stuff.
Well, let me get my scenes out.
I'll be right back.
Go to the bathroom and go grab a beer. I'm gonna grab a good beer.
No, I'm not drinking. Trying to run a decent game here. All right, I got the pictures and the okay, so we got that, we got that. Let me turn on the music. Got to play the Conan soundtrack. Okay. Music. That's not good.
All right, I got some dragon's milk here, ready to go.
All right.
all right, so I just drag my character out here.
Yeah, you can.
We've got a bunch of elves.
All right, I guess we'll get started. All right, so let me put the picture of Mr. Dude. Okay, copy. Hold on. All right, so again, the Kalak, the Sorcerer King of Tyr, has been killed by Riddick. Let me go ahead and put Mr. Riddick's.
You keep what you
info.
kill.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, your pronunciations of these guys are funny.
Right,
Is
yeah.
it not Kalak? Is it not Kalak or Kalak?
I don't know
Wait.
about him, but Rikus or Rikus is not
Rikus.
Riddick.
Wait, do you figure out what we were gonna do?
Well, I'm gonna have you guys overlooking the city. This is again. I don't know your background. You guys can do the background tonight if you want. But I do want to put the picture that I am trying to upload at the moment. File, save, desktop. I'll just put I'll put Sorcerer King. All right, let me upload that. Browse. Sorcerer King. Okay. Upload. Okay, go back here, and then put the picture on the map. Okay, here we go. This is what I wanted to show. All right, so again, this is right after the this guy, Ritkus. How do you pronounce it there, Mr. Lore Nazi?
Is it Rikus?
Rikus? Yeah, I was referring to Mr. Drummer. All right, so
Well, I don't know the lore. I just know that those letters do not equate to Riddick.
Riddick. All right. All right. Well, grammar Nazi then. All right. All right. So anyway, here's the illustration, the picture of him.
Technically correct. The
yeah.
best kind of correct.
All right. So here's
What I
the.
strive for.
This is what you guys are all witnessing. Again, you could be part of the people that are in the stands. Because again, you've got a really good background to where you're technically a merchant or whatever. Again, this is whatever background you want to give yourself. And then you could also have a couple of you guys could be slaves and say, hey, we're looking through the portcullis that is letting us see this scene at the moment. All right, so I'll start with that, and then you guys can say, okay, since he's dropping us into the campaign now, I am, a merchant and I'm in the stands. And then you guys are all going to have to figure out how you know each other and so on and so forth. All right, so that's enough of that. I'll shut up now and you
So
guys
I
can...
will have been in the stands because I've already gone through your slave start like 5, 6, 7 times already.
Well, again, you let the other guys know, and then they'll chime in and say you're best friends with them or whatever. All right, so
I'll
go ahead.
find out how me and Wave met because I would have been from the north. What was it? The last tree or something?
Oh yeah, the last tree.
Let me take a piss, guys. I'll be back.
Yeah, so I'm like wheeling out the alcohol as the tyrant's being speared here. I guess like I'm a minor government employee or whatever, and I guess I didn't really like him, so I'm like, hooray, hooray. We're gonna get the party started, and I'm like handing out the imperial booze to people.
The world will be better off with one less of these accursed beings.
So,
Don't you think?
and who's speaking?
That would be me, the druid.
Is this your character here on this?
Also,
Okay.
I'm probably the only other elf than you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I say, I haven't seen any elves around here. Are you like you're an elf native to Athos, I presume?
Yes. Thank you for
All right.
looking at me. I've got the brownish road. I've got brownish travel
Okay.
stuff. I've got a wooden yew staff, basically for walking around.
So yeah, my skin is significantly whiter than yours. I have like golden eyes and I'm wearing dark robes. And I say, a fellow elf. I can't say I've seen one of you in the city. I guess today of all days is a day to be praised. And I hand you some alcohol here.
Take it, but I'll just basically I'll stopper it and I'll put it in a pack. Said, well, when an event like this occurs, it You just have to
Alright, I'm
come
back.
and see if the rumors are true.
Yes. Well, at least it's today's a good day. I might be out of a job, but at least today's a good day. And I guess I'll hand one to what is there an owl here?
That's me. That's just a profile picture, but I'm like a vampire.
You're a vampire?
Dampier, I think.
Oh, a
Yeah,
dampier.
vampire.
Okay.
Basically a vampire.
Well, I'll hand one to you. I say, another pale-faced companion I see. And I hand a tankard to you.
Thank you. What's your name?
I go by Aster.
Yep, my name is Bread. Odd name, but
I see.
Eh.
Well,
and I'm
and I
trying to
guess
find
at
like
this point, there's a bunch of people starting to swarm around and say, and I lift like the imperial seal off my coat and I say, today we have no kings. Today we're all free. And I sort of throw it out up in the air.
so that
Okay.
means you have a job, right?
Yep, that's what it looks like. I was just discussing it with this. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Nahuatl.
Nathaniel, I see.
Nahuatl.
I mean, we could go around and do jobs. I hear that's a good way to make money.
Maybe, but not having to work for someone like that on account of them no longer existing.
We would work for ourselves.
That would be a net positive in my view.
Yes, I I didn't catch your professions. I'm just a bureaucrat. I don't know how much help I could be to you.
I just got here. I just like woke up here. So now I'm just living here, I guess.
I've been a traveling physic of sorts. I've come up from the far north.
I see, yes, there's many nomads from what I've heard there. Though I haven't ventured much outside of the city myself, so I'm a little bit ignorant to those parts.
I help where I can. As I said, when I heard something as momentous as the death of one of the accursed kings was happening, I just had to see if the rumors were true.
I see. Well, and I guess Ludwig, are you a gnome?
I am an autognome, so a construct.
Okay.
Beep boop, beep boop.
Not a robot.
I say, must be one of the creations of the life crafters. Doesn't appear to know what you are. Or and he leans close, he says, do you hail from this world, sir?
No, I've only been here for a short time. I stumbled through a gate from another world and found myself here. I still don't really know where here is, but I've been wandering around trying to make a living just as a handyman, fixing and creating things.
I see. Well, that makes us kindred spirits of sorts, and I kind of wink at him, or I wink at you. I say, fortune smiles so brightly on this day. I'm out of a job, and yet I've found appears to be 3 new companions.
Well, since we're all poor and we're out of money, we could just do some jobs around.
Yes. And he thinks for a second. He says, "Well, the job board that was usually a job for old Eugene. He's out of a job too, but maybe whoever. But he's probably posted them for the day, and those people still need their jobs done. So we might check that out."
Sure, why not? Let's get
Let's
this.
go quickly before the rest of the people here pick them all over.
Yeah.
Yippee.
I imagine the revelry here will probably reach a fever pitch as not too soon here. I'd rather just get out of here before it gets carried away.
Yes, I think I think the looting might be starting soon. So yes, let's make haste.
All right. So what's on the bounty board or board?
All right, so have you guys already gotten to know each other? You've already done that?
Yep.
All right,
Yeah,
so so basically what's happening now is this is after the Mr. Kalek has been killed. You guys do know Rickus as well as his entourage, so you are somewhat acquainted with them. If you want to, tag along with them, that's totally fine. So this is after the fight. They all go to the council chambers to figure out what they're going to do now. You guys follow along. There's a large group that is, or the militia that is covering you guys as well as Aricus as his entourage. You make it to the council chamber. The people that are still pretty much in a celebratory mood here in the city. It looks like you guys are going to be partying for quite a while. Again, people are not worried about the other cities attacking them at the moment. As a matter of fact, the humans or the people in the city have no clue as to anyone invading or anything. This is where you guys come in. So you are herded to the council chambers, and then Rickus gets up on the at the front of the chamber, and this is a chamber. Yeah, you guys are.
If it matters to you, DM, for the future, under my character's backstory, I am a part of a circle of druids, and I do have the faction background, so.
Oh,
part of
okay.
an active faction of druids.
All right, so not a problem. So again, Rickus yells at the council chambers. Adges is there. Sadrira, Neva, and then Titan. He's up here. He's the guy that's taken over the seat of Kalak, the former Sorcerer King. All right, so Rickus has his back. He's happy that Thythian has taken the chamber because, again, if you read the novels, you know that Thythian is helping out the guys. Now, Thythian, he might or might not be evil. Again, that's that's something completely different. So, don't think that the lore automatically makes him an evil guy. Which it doesn't have. He might or might not be, is what I'm trying to say. All right, so Thythian, he raises his hands up. He says, my fellow citizens of the city of Tyr, we have now basically conquered the station of authority. We've gotten rid of Kalak. And then Rickus basically raises his hands as well. Everybody's cheering and hollering. And he basically says, now we have the mission of governing the city. He looks at you guys, again, you kind of know each other. You're not besties or anything like that, but you're important enough to where Rickus, Igus, Sadria, all of them kind of know you already. Again, you're not besties. You are, confidants of the major NPCs. So they look at you guys and say, here's a couple of friends of the movement. And then he looks at you guys, and then whoever wants to speak will, again, give their ideas of how the city should be governed. So, again, you guys can say, well, we need to worry about the water and so on and so forth.
Well, okay. No one wants to volunteer.
I'll do it.
I'll work as party as. Now, are we going to be a psychotic social.
okay with
or are you gonna
psychotic.
be a,
Psychotic social body.
You guys gonna be murder hobos again? Oh,
No,
okay, I kinda
he's.
figured that.
No, I'm asking him: is he going to be a psychotic socialite, or is he going to actually attempt diplomacy?
Well, remember, we're
I
starting
have
the
no
campaign.
problems letting him be.
Well,
a
we are in the
socialite.
council chambers, so and they did just execute. This guy just did execute the king, so if we act out, he'll just kill us.
I'm
Well,
gonna
I
run.
mean,
Why I'm
we-
saying with
Yeah.
Alistar, I have no problems letting you be a party face as long as you're not gonna
Yeah, I
make
mean-
stupid decisions.
You guys can leave
Hey,
the city.
I'll
technically,
try
if you
my
wanted
best.
to, Yeah.
Hey, I mean, since we're all looking for money, we might as well look at the board and just get a quest done, get money. Because we're all
Uh,
poor.
Yeah,
Okay,
you guys
so-
want me to go through the roster again? The
I'll
missions?
I'll step. Well,
Yeah,
first,
I think
first-
we're gonna do that in a second. I think he wants to sort of introduce us to the crew here, and then we
Yeah.
can probably pick a quest.
All right. Well, just to make sure
Oh.
we're all on the same page, you guys are important. So if you turn your back on the city, this city is gonna get screwed. So let's make sure that you guys take your positions seriously.
as I was going to say, if you want to step up with me, Alistair here, we can.
Okay.
I will.
Yeah, the elven entourage.
Said Aster and Alistair because Alistair said he wanted to run
Brad, what
socialite.
I don't wanna overrule you, but what are you gonna want to do here? You just want to take a quest? Is that what you want?
Yeah, take a quest, get good relations, leave, murder.
Okay. So I kind of bow and I say, "Hello, good sir. My name is Aster, former bureaucrat here in the city. Now that the government is gone, I appear to be unemployed." And I sort of wave my hand. My entourage here is in a similar position, and we were hoping we could help this fledgling government in any way we can.
And once he finishes, I'll take a bow and say, "I'm known as Nahuatl. Been a traveling physic from the northern reaches here. I do want to congratulate you on deposing one of the abhorrent sorcerer kings. I will congratulate you on freeing yourselves. Hopefully we can set about a turn of events here that will let the city remain in your control."
We're
Oh.
broke. Just
I will.
yeah.
We'll have to say, you are aware the difficult part's going to start now. I'll say this to Rikos.
All right, and then he looks at you and he comes over to you and puts his hand on your shoulder. He says, "We have someone here that has high hopes for the city. Perhaps you can give us your ideas of how we should proceed today." And then Neva says, "We need to make sure," and then she goes over the surveillance mission guys. So again, they're taking their positions on this is what we need to do, and then you guys are gonna get involved or say we're not gonna do any of that. Anyway, so Neva says, "Look, the first thing we need to do is surveil the city of Iridic. They're more than likely going to retaliate against us. The Sorcerer Kings are more than likely not going to tolerate us going independent, and we should expect a serious onslaught from Uruk as well as the other cities." My idea or my suggestion is to surveil some of these cities and see if their armies are large enough or if they're even going to start their attempt to attack us. So we need to do that firstly. And then Sadria, she does, you know what, I'll just have her be, how much Mr. Drummer, do you want to get involved to where you have your own little weird thing going on the side, or you don't want to take that? basically what I'm trying to say here, Mr. Drummer, is I'm gonna try to set you up with your own little side missions. And if you're not gonna do any of the side missions, then I'm not gonna waste my time talking to you about any of these side missions. So before I offer you these side missions, I'm gonna want to know. It's like, well, I have no interest in doing anything you're giving me, Mr. DM. So stop wasting my time. So is that the
I would
case, Mr.
Need a little context, like who's giving me these side missions and how weird are they, and are they legitimately helping anything?
Yeah. What's your background? Are you like Cloak and Dagger, or you're just a tank, or? What-
No, I'm an artificer. I mean, my background's going to be that I was marooned here by going through a gate, planar gate.
Oh,
I
okay.
haven't been able to get back, so I've just
He's a
been
small robot gnome.
Yeah,
Alright.
small construct gnome, just trying to make a
There's-
living here.
2 characters here you could probably build backstories off of. It's me and Weave.
Yeah.
Weave
What?
was part of the previous administration, and I'm part of the druids from the north.
Yeah, I'm gonna do Weave a little bit later when he talks to Tithian at the. He's gonna be the last guy that I'm gonna.
If you've worked around me before, then you'll know I can make food and water magically without
Yeah.
filing.
Yeah, you're gonna be. This guy's gonna talk to you, but I want to get Sadria. He's gonna go to Mr. What's your character's name, Mr. Drummer?
Ludwig.
Ludwig. All right, she looks at Ludwig and she kind of knows you from, again, from the little time she's seen you, and then she comes up to you and she says, "We could use people like this." And she's, looking at the council members. She only points you out because you look like you might be a good rogue character, Mr. Drummer. So before you
that
start getting
is-
confused over why she's, talking to you, is because she kind of assumes that you would make a good Cloak and Dagger, roguish type of surveillance type of person. So she
Not
comes.
really something I've
Yeah.
I do or have made a name for myself doing.
Well, yeah, if you're not interested, you can just say, well, you could give your 2 cents on how they should proceed. But again, she walks up to you and she kind of assumes that you would be a good person, since Miss Neva is over here espousing information about surveillance. So Sidria goes to you, Mr. Drummer, and she says, perhaps this little one can help us with the surveillance of the city of Uruk, as well as the outside or other cities. And Mr. Drummer, what do you say?
I'll ask her what kind of surveillance they're looking for. Are they looking for scouting or infiltration, or informants in the city about military movements, or what are you wanting to know?
She says, look, we have a couple of people working for us, the Veiled Alliance. You probably have already heard them. We have, let's just say, conspirators in these cities that would need more. We would need more information on how the overturning of the cities or the sabotaging of the cities could be done. But we would need an agent to keep tabs on that. So this is out of character. So she's recruiting you, Mr. Ludwig, to handle these Cloak and Dagger surveillance missions that you would, get in touch with her, such as with a sending stone, something like that, Mr. Dude. And then you would just, again, handle the surveillance or go into other cities. And then they would give you missions saying, hey, we need to sabotage one of the guys that was arrested the other day. He's one of our guys. Okay, well, you get the idea, Mr. Drummer. I'll give you a bunch of side missions. But she is wanting you to take on this responsibility. Whether you want to do that, that's on you. You can bring up your own ideas. Again, she's not saying you should do that. I'm just kind of, giving you an option here.
Do you want to do roguelike espionage stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it's important,
Well, I'm
guys,
gonna.
because the other cities
So
are gonna
it sounds
attack.
like she said they already have some agents embedded there, and
Yeah.
we're gonna be like handlers and coordinating.
Yeah, Exactly.
stuff.
So, for example, you would go to the city of Urich, and then you would get in touch with the contact person there, and then the contact person would give you 10 missions for you to resolve or have the city be taken over by the Veiled Alliance. Overthrow the government, and you guys would, go from city to city to eventually overthrow all the cities and kill all the Sorcerer Kings, or bring down the cities, I should say. So that would be your
Okay.
mission, Mr. Dude.
First of all, you need to go watch Riddick because you clearly have it on the brain. You need to get that out of your system.
He looks like Riddick. He's bald. He looks
So
Rickus.
I'm
Rickus.
down with
Good
that if the
movie.
party is, because I'm not. I don't actually do rogue things. I'm not stealth. I'm not like
Well,
built
I
as a
mean,
rogue. So I don't know if the party is down for that kind of activity.
well, again,
Uh,
you could give your own little speech on that's not a good idea. We should do X.
Like I've got perception, investigation, and insight proficiencies, and I can use thieves tools, so I can do some of that stuff. Like I can contribute, but I don't know if the party, with the characters we have, if that's gonna
Probably
actually
not
be
the best
feasible.
idea.
I have a lot of stuff.
Okay, well, this is Mr. Drummer's little time.
Yeah, I'm talking to
What's-
the
Okay,
party.
okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't speak for all of us gathered here. We're
Could be
Okay.
attempted, but it's not my forte.
Yeah. All right. Well,
What do you think, Aster? Is that anything you're interested in or skilled at?
I mean, I don't know that you need to be a rogue to do espionage work, but yeah, it's an option. We could do it, or we can listen to the other proposals.
yeah. Tonight is just basically, for you guys to get a bearing on what's going on around you, and then from there you have a good idea of how you want to proceed, for the
Okay.
rest of the campaign.
So I'm not saying no to the idea, but I don't know if that task is best suited to the skill set of our little band here. So what other ways can we help, and then we'll see where we may best put our talents to work.
Oh, okay. Well, then Agus here kind of speaks up, and he moves toward you, Mr. Drummer. He says, well, we could use other people, not just the Ludwig, our kind friend, Mr. Ludwig. Again, he kind of knows you already. And then he looks at whoever, Bread, and says, we could use other means to bring down the Sorcerer King. And then he starts talking about the Templars help mission. And he goes, look, we're going to be needing a lot more sources of water since we have now been cut off by the other cities. So we can't rely on their trading of supplies for us to move forward. So this is very important. We're going to gather our Templars to, instead of, sulking over Kalag's death, we're going to maybe try to change their minds and act as Templars for water sources or fire sources or whatever it is that the city is needing. Right now, we're needing a couple of our Templars to look for more areas of where we can spawn more water. And then he looks at Bread. He says, Bread, perhaps you might be able to help us out here. You're good with maybe giving out orders to these Templars. Perhaps you could be the lead on looking for sources of water, and then we could have the Templars try to, bring out the bounty of water from whatever location you might be able to find these water sources.
So what's in it for me?
Well, what's in it for you is the health of the city. Again, we shouldn't be selfish right now. We just liberated the city. This is our chance to become independent and maybe have other cities follow our lead. So if you're going to be a selfish little bitch right now, then you can leave the fucking building. No. I'm kidding, Brad. I'm joking. But he is a little annoyed with your question. Again, he is right now. They're all trying to, help each other out.
Procuring natural supplies might be more of my forte. I'll speak up a bit since he's fumbling.
That was a joke, Brad. So.
That was not a fumble. I just want to get
no,
paid.
I just want to make sure you understood that the city
I
right
just
now,
want to get paid.
you can't be selfish right now. The city has just,
As a chaotic evil
Okay.
person, I must be.
Okay, well, Silver.
No,
you
there's
wanna chime
chaotic
in?
evil and then there's chaotic stupid.
Yeah.
Just keep
All
that-
right.
So I say, well, of course, if we all, die of dehydration, there won't be much to do anyway.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
kind of poke at him.
yeah,
You
they-
guys need water?
Yeah, it's the council. It's kind of like you just gave a really bad joke right now, Mr. Brett. So they kind of
Yeah.
Yeah, Aster says, yes, forgive my friend. Yeah, he's quite new to this place.
And then Aegis looks to you, Mr. I'm sorry, Mike. What was your guys' name?
Aster.
Aster. All right. He looks at Mr. Aster. He puts his hands behind his back and he kind of hobbles back and forth. And he looks at you and says, "What do you suggest?" And again, this is Aegis talking to you right now.
I say, well, from my understanding of events, these are all critical needs, and it would be best for us to think carefully about which ones are most pressing. How much time do we have? How much water? How much time do we have before the city runs out of water?
Says we probably have about a week's worth of water supplies.
I say, yes, well, it'll take a long journey to get to Uruk for the surveillance mission.
Yeah. Well, that's just to make sure we're all clear here. That's a completely separate mission. They have no relation.
Oh yeah, I
Wait.
understand that, but if they run out of water before we finish that mission, you just told me they
Yeah.
have a week.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait,
Okay.
How far is there from here? Like, where are we?
Well, yeah, if you look at
Uruk is very far away. I want to say it's a ton of miles through the desert.
Can you guys fly?
No.
Of course you can. Okay. I say we can just all fly there. No
Even
problem.
flying, it would be a distance.
I was gonna say that if you're going over desert, flying doesn't gain you anything. Move
Better than
speed,
walking.
move speed.
Do you have the map, DM?
yeah, just
With, does it have a-
you guys should be able to click on it at the top anytime you want. So up at the top, you should see Dark Sun map. If you
You said
don't,
we're in Selleck, right?
no, you're in Tyr right now. Remember, Kalek has just been killed,
Oh.
and the government is, they're talking over how they're going to.
Where's Tyr on the map? Like, there's so many places.
Tyr is
It's
over.
in the
Look, do you see
north.
where it says Forest Ridge? Look to the right.
Oh, we're right there. Huh.
How do I see the map? I can't find this.
Let me. Move
Yeah, on
you
the
guys
top
over.
next to the forge anvil.
You
it
gotta
says
drop
toggle
down.
navigation.
Oh yeah, so there's
Wait.
Uruk there, and I think Tyr is there.
Yeah, it's
And
over
how
there.
many miles?
You're right
is
there. I mean, we could do what they ask, or
225 miles if his map is actually accurate.
Yeah,
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a key in the bottom left.
Yeah, bottom left. There's a key. That's accurate.
Yeah, so that's gonna take many days to go.
You're looking at, if it's a straight, like we go over countryside, 225 miles. That's just if it's a straight
I mean,
shot.
if we take the roads, we're gonna be looking at more like 350 miles.
And the typical their typical travel time is roughly 8 to 16 miles a day.
Well,
Yeah,
we're
so we're
playing
not making
standard
that.
24 technically.
yeah. So we wouldn't. It would take us
Yes,
a
but
few
this is
days.
desert, which is rough terrain.
Yeah, it's gonna take us like at least 10 days to get there.
Well, the
Which
roads are
I
normal,
don't-
roads are normal terrain, guys. Don't worry about if you're going outside the roads. Yeah, you're right. Mr.
Even
Silver.
though it's like still okay, you probably cut down the time by like maybe 5 days, but that's still a
If
long,
we take the roads, it's over.
so long. That's at least more than 5 days.
It's a week. It's just over a week one way.
Yeah, so we need to get the water ASAP, or we're all gonna die of thirst.
You guys need water?
Okay.
Well, yeah, the
ignoring
city-
ignoring what he says, how much water supply are we looking
Yeah, about a
to
week.
secure?
About a week.
They have a week. We have a week's worth of water in this city before.
I mean, or we could go up to the Temple of the Sky Serpent. It's like a little pool there.
Well, remember,
Yeah, how far is
you're
this away?
You're level 1. I mean, you know.
Okay.
Well, we can't
Again-
travel like a week's worth at
Well,
level
what
1.
I'm saying is you're gonna have to go through the mountains, and that's difficult
Again,
terrain.
guys. Okay, so I'll speak up to Kalik here. I said roughly how much water supply are we going to need to secure?
Oh, okay. And you're talking to Kalik is the dead sorcerer, so.
Oh, sorry,
Rickus
Rickus.
All right. Well, let me.
or
put you guys-
Aegis. I think Aegis was telling us about it.
Yeah, Aegis was the guy telling you. So he goes up to you, Mr. Alster. He says, "Look, right now, we can. The problem of getting water is not the issue. The issue is having our Templars find the source of where the water might be, and then from there, using their Templars' powers in order to bring forth the water from the source." So this is out of character. Survival is what's going to be needed, guys, and perhaps a means to not have monsters attack the Templars while they're trying to bring up the water from the location that you guys are going to have to locate. What that means is
Well, I asked them how big of a source are we needing to find.
He says a fairly large source, more than likely from either from the desert areas, which would make things a bit more difficulty. Out of character, what he's talking about is a survival check of 18, as opposed to, and then he starts talking about the aqueducts underneath the city that are fairly not used.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask. I think in the lore, the water is sourced underground. So, like, has something stopped it here?
He says,
I
well,
mean-
since the Dragon King, it was the source of having the Templars draw the water, and now there is no Dragon King, then this is out of character. You guys already know that the Sorcerer King is the one that gives the Templars their magical abilities. You guys know that, right?
Yeah,
Correct?
yeah.
Okay. So now that there is no Sorcerer King, because again he's been dead, they're gonna have to rely on their own Templar abilities to tap into the elemental water.
Hear me out. Instead of going to Yurt, why don't we just go to Silver Spring, because I'm hoping a spring has water.
So,
Yeah,
Well,
there's
the problem is walking there and getting attacked.
so
account.
there is a natural spring underneath Tyr, but you don't
Artifice.
have access to an aquifer under it.
Aquifer.
Yeah, but you no longer have access to it
So
And
what,
then-
ever since the.
why don't just dig?
And then
Do we-
Aegis brings out a map, which is the map you're looking at right now. This is
We
where
can't see.
this is funny.
I
This is,
yeah, I don't have
this is out of
vision.
character. This is where the guys
Okay.
picked up a bunch of children.
Children?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was where the massacre
That's
happened.
great.
Yeah.
I can't see
Mike was the leader of the massacre.
it. I can't see it.
So okay,
You
so you're
gotta
telling
drag
me
your token onto the
Oh,
map.
I'm sorry. Let me turn on the lights, guys.
so we can just go in through the sewers and just keep going down, down, down until we find water.
Yeah, there's
there-
a
that what I
river right here, but my recollection is that this area was
filled
at least
with-
in the last campaign there was monsters and shit down
Oh,
here.
absolutely. There's got to be monsters.
So we'll just kill the monsters down here.
There's also a lot of treasure down here because this area is
I
from
heard treasure.
before the time of. This is out of character, but a guy that's concerned about getting loot, this is a good place to potentially find stuff
I heard
Yeah,
treasure. I am happy. Let's go.
All right. Well,
because this is from before the time of the. This is like from the Green Age down here. There's a bunch of. But anyways, I don't know if my character knows that, but
well, no.
the guy.
Aegis is the one bringing out the map and telling you about the. Again, right now for today, guys, I'm just briefing you on the shit, and then next week we'll get around to doing something.
No.
But so he brings out the map. Aegis tells you guys about the area. If you're interested, again, that's that's
So,
you guys.
I'm gonna ask Aegis if so. Since it's a spring under the city, if we go into the
Aquifer.
tunnels under the city,
Yeah.
maybe able to find the water there.
Right. And that'll have enough water. You won't have to go out in the desert and make things difficult for yourself because again, the survival checks might work. Or
Well,
may
I
not work.
see a clear option here. Let's just go into the sewers and let's get that water.
It's
Okay,
not
well,
a sewer.
It's technically an aquifer. All right.
There's
but
like a river down here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's all sorts of stuff down there.
So let's go to the aquifer and see if we can find any water there.
Oh well, that's another mission.
By the way, this will probably take like a month or more to traverse if we want to traverse
What
all
a
this stuff.
month!
Well, we have a
Yeah.
year, guys, so chill out. You can do whatever you want. You don't.
Yeah, I just say that for people that are potentially really excited about going elsewhere. If you are, make that known now before we make this decision.
Might as well do bug hunt and go to the mine.
Yeah, the mine is also an option.
If we need to locate other sources of water nearby, I might be able to assist with that.
Well, they're talking about city-sized water. They're
Yeah,
talking
you just told us we would
Yeah.
need to roll an 18 survival.
yeah. In
I'm
order
a
to find the
druid.
source. Yeah. Well, here's the
Yeah, we do have
problem.
the druid too, so
Yeah. Well, here's
they can probably make that check. Does anyone have guidance here?
He does. The druid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean the guys know that I give him a lot of.
We can
skills
give
here.
him the help action. He can guide himself, and he can make the check.
Yeah, again, guys, if you want to go out in the desert look for water, that's totally fine. Or you can go down into the under tier, and then
Well,
it's up to
I
you.
could make a suggestion. We can spend one day investigating the local area. Maybe we'll get lucky and we'll find an alternative source that can last until we find something permanent.
All right. Well, well, you're clear on if you want to do that mission. That's up to you guys. Mm. All right.
I
Well,
would take that's something that we could do.
yeah.
Yeah, we could also do bug hunt, and then we could come down here and find the water. I think the vampire guy wants to do the bug hunt with some
Yes.
Okay.
large interest.
All right.
Okay, so we got a few quests. Were there any other ones, DM?
Yeah. The do you mind if I talk to you openly, having the other guys hear out what Mr. Tithis is gonna talk to you about?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I know.
All right.
Yeah.
So
I guess it's easier now with the council here.
yeah. So since again you already told me you know the guy, it's this guy, Tithian. All right. So he kind of looks at you. Again, everybody's conferencing on what they're gonna be needing. A lot of people are advocating for the water supply that needs to be taken care of. While everybody's shouting and giving their 2 cents, Mr. Tithian waves at you, Mr. Weaver. Oh, I'm sorry, not Weaver. Mr. Weave.
Master.
Yeah.
Which map are you on?
Oh, let me put you back in the.
Oh, there we go.
All
Okay.
right, so you go up to the guy, and then you are next to him again. You know each other. You're not besties, but he knows you. He's acquainted with you, and then he starts talking about how the people don't really understand what the future is going to hold for the city, because he's over here worried about how the other Sorcerer Kings are going to attack the city, and he's certain of it. Everybody else is like, it might or might not happen. We don't care. Let's party. Mr. Thithian is more concerned over the future events for the city, and then he starts talking to you about the seriousness of how the Bori, the head Sorcerer King, you guys know that there's one major Sorcerer King. The guy's name is Bordy or Borde.
Boyers. It's
Boris.
like Boyrs or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, Bears. How do you pronounce it? Because
I pronounce it
the grammar
Boyers.
Nazi over here is gonna.
It's on the map on the Dark Sun map. If you look like about like northeast of Tyr, there's something called Boyer's Citadel.
Yeah, Boyers. Okay. Well, just as
It's-
long as the guys know what I'm, what he's referring to. Anyway, so he's over here in conference with you while everybody else is, nobody's paying attention to you guys because Thithian is not technically a sorcerer king. He's just the guy in charge of the city, so they're not too worried about him. Plus, he worked with the Nivea, Rikas, and the other heroes of the city. So everybody thinks he's a great guy, and he might be. So anyway, he's talking to you, Mr. Weave, and then he is telling you that we're going to have to plan on the onslaught of the other Sorcerer Kings attacking the city. It would be a good idea that they would hopefully work on a plan on taking out Bordy, the main Sorcerer King. And then he's asking for your opinions because he knows that in the end, Mr. Sorcerer King #1, Bori, is not gonna allow any of this shit to happen. So he's basically asking you for your advice, Mr. Weave, on how that's gonna go. Because again, well, I'm rambling.
I'd say, we would likely need an army to fight against him, and a group of people would need to attack him in a similar way. But we need very powerful magical items to defeat such a creature. Alas, I don't have a solution for that. They would need to be relics from long ago.
And then he takes out a scroll and he slides it on the table right next to you, and he says this might do. And then you open the scroll and it starts talking about the dark lands, Mr. Dude. And you already know what
yes.
I'm talking about, right?
Yes, I know what that is. I say, my eyes kind of go wide, and I say, I kind of lean in and I say, it's real.
He says it is real. I've came upon this information when I looked through the Kalex documents. He was working on trying to retrieve this item. I only have bits and pieces of where this item might be, but perhaps you can take the mantle of finding this item, because again, it's inevitable that the other Sorcerer Kings are 100%, 1,000% going to attack this city. This is not going to stand with them. It's just not going to stand. And then he's trying to, impress to you, Mr. Weave, that this is the end game of how, the liberation of the city is going to happen, as well as the other cities, if Mr. Boyer is not killed. And he is letting you know about this dark lands that magnifies spells and so on and so forth. That might be the solution to kill Borid. And again, this is going to take a year for you to figure out, but it's one of those long missions that you might want to pursue. That's up to you, Mr. Weave. That's on you. And then he looks at you and he thinks, "What do you think?"
I say, certainly we should look at finding any information about this immediately.
He said, "This is our only hope. If we cannot find this lens, we won't be able to overcome the Sorcerer King Bordy. He'll eventually come here and destroy all of us if we don't have something to counteract his attacks on us. And he's a very powerful sorcerer king. This is that character. Powerful as in he has access to or wish spells and all the spells that are in the on the books, guys. So if I bring up a spell from one of the whatever book there is, he has access to. So just to make an impression on you guys that this guy's head honcho. CR30 is what I'm trying to tell you guys. So what do you say, Mr. Astor?
Yeah, I'm all for it. We need to. I say, is there any leads on where we even begin to look for this?
He says, unfortunately, I've looked through all of his documents. I couldn't begin to tell you where to begin. So this is out of character. He has no clue. It's going to be up to you to investigate or figure out what you need to do, Mr. Astor. He's just letting you know that he's came upon this document, who he read through, Dark Lens, magnified spells, so on and so forth. He said, "Oh, this might be a way for us to kill the Sorcerer King," and then he's given it to you to, run the ball with that premise, Mr.
Okay. Yes. I bow. I say, yes. Well, let us work first at securing the safety of the city, and then we will find this and bring it to bear.
And then he kind of has a almost like a gloom. Like if I was running a movie, this is where the gloom music would come up, and then he says he grabs you by the wrist and he says, "If we can't locate this item, I'm afraid." And then he looks at all the council and everybody yelling and screaming and making ideas of how they should proceed with the city. He says, "If we don't find this particular item to get rid of the Sorcerer King, we will have done this for naught." And then he looks around at the room thinking, well, if we don't kill Mr. Bori, everybody in this room is going to be dead. So this is very important, Mr. Weave.
Yes, I understand.
And then he goes around and starts talking to his council members. All right, so that's another something for you guys to ponder. Again, that's on you. And then Mr. Rikas goes to... Already spoken with Squid. I've already spoken with Weave. I've already talked to Drummer. Mr. Silver has already chimed in. Did you guys want to, talk to the council people or anyone else before we finish this whole council member meeting?
Maybe, but the first things first is we need to deal with the water situation, because everything else isn't going to matter if in a week everyone dies of dehydration.
All right. Well, you have two options. You can go out in the desert and find a source, or you can go out down into the aquifer. And
my suggestion was we could spend one day looking in the local area, seeing as I have familiarity with that kind of skills. I might be able to locate a temporary solution while we work to deal with the more permanent solution of the aquifers underneath the city.
Oh, okay.
If you guys are okay with that.
Yeah.
So
that
if we can locate a temporary buffer on day one, that'll buy us more time in the under tier.
All right. Well, whose character is this? The not?
Now, that'll be me.
Oh. Okay. All right. Well, one of the guild leaders basically comes up to you guys, because again, the whole group is made up of council members, important people, merchants, guild leaders, so on and so forth. All right. So one of the guild leaders says, "Madam, I have a proposition for you. I understand you're a bit busy now, but this is quite imperative for me." And side mission, sir. What do you want to do?
I'll ask him, is it more imperative than the population dying of thirst in a lake?
He says, "Well, I understand what you mean, sir, but this is something that means quite a lot to me in my business. Yes, I understand that there is quite of a matter with the water, but this shouldn't take too long for you to maybe try to take care of. I've heard many good things about you and your fellow brethren, I should say. But here's the situation. I'll get down to business. I have a small business that deals in armor supplies as well as makeshift resources. And then he starts going over a couple of things. So basically, what I'm trying to get at, guys, is Monsters Loot Book 1. If you have access to that, please open it up. Give me a
We
sec.
don't until.
I think I got it.
Well, if you have it, great. If you
I
don't
got
have
it.
it, that's fine too. All right. Well, if you do have it, open up the Monster Loot number 1, and then go to. Where is my ink kit? Okay.
Considering they're talking to me about it and I don't have access to it, so
Well, you kind of know what they're saying, Mr. Dude. All right, so if you need a screenshot, I'll go ahead and put that in there. Anyway, he's basically asking for Ankhead supplies or resources. Let me give you.
This is the bug hunt mission.
Yeah,
Is this
bug hunt.
bug mission?
Yeah, this is the bug hunt
Yeah.
mission.
Yeah.
Where's my Ankhead page? Oh yeah, here we go. Let me give you a screenshot of that, and
basically, I'm just going to take a guess at this. He wants us to gather Enkeg chitin for him to make
well,
supplies.
it's in the Discord, sir. If you're into that.
I just threw a guess out there.
Oh, okay. All right, so
Uh,
he's being a little bit weaselly, but you know most merchants are, dude. Anyway, he says, "Look, I need these for some Ankhead hide."
the Ankhead hide, or the rations, or the acid.
Yeah, all of those are options that you can pilfer from the Ankhead hive that he's telling you about. He says, "Look, I have a customer who is in dire need of these Ankhead hide. If you would be interested in trying to procure for me, I can offer you, again, you can read it for yourself, 45 gold. And don't worry about the 2 days. That's his job. He's the one creating the armor for you. So, but he can offer you 45 gold for the Ankhead hide. As far as the ration goes, he would take that off your hands, but he's not going to offer you more than maybe 1 or 2 gold for that.
I'll tell
And
him
yeah.
if we come across Enkegs while we're looking, we can see about getting that for you. But right now, we need to focus on making sure that the populace actually stays alive, because
And then he kind
there's
of
not going to be a rebellion or of sorts if people just die from.
And again, he's being a little
Starvation or-
weaselly, Mr. Silver. He's like, he said, but of course, sir, you would appreciate the Ankhead hide would be much of a benefit to not only myself, but to you, perhaps. Now, I'm not saying that you would
Yeah.
go out and kill more
I
than
know,
one.
DM. This is me acting in character
Okay, okay.
with morals and saying I'm trying to do the important thing here and save lives. If by our chance we come across an Enkeg on our travels, we'll see about collecting it for you, but I'll make no promises.
Well, yeah, you're saying you might or might not get around to it. My Weasley merchant fellow is trying to
That's-
persuade you into.
Yeah, I'll do it
And
for
that's
him.
that's why I just said
I'll do
we're
it for
gonna-
him.
That's why I just said we're going to focus on the water first. If we have the opportunity to, then we'll get it. But if we don't, then I'm sorry. That's just how it's going to have to happen.
And he kind of smiles at you, like a little annoyed, and then he says, "I understand." And then he just kind of walks away. You guys heard what the conversation was. Whether you want to change his mind, that's on you. But my guy has already made his offer. If you don't take it, that's on you guys, not me.
No,
All right.
I'm playing a good aligned character DM who's trying to save lives. How dare I?
Okay. Well, that's good.
All right, I've come back down. I look somewhat shocked, and I say, "How well is there a decision made?"
No.
I mean,
What?
I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to save the lives of these people.
Yeah.
They are
Water
facing
seems like the
imminent
pressing.
dehydration.
All right. All right. And then Tithian up here at the north location, he puts up his hands. He says, fellow citizens, fellow council members, we will adjourn for today. We will come back in a couple of days and make sure that the things that need to be taken care of for the city, such as, and then he kind of looks at you guys. I mean, he's not asking you guys to that you're responsible for this, but again, you do have somewhat of a position here in the city. He looks at you guys and says, "Hopefully, we can get this resolved within the time frame of 1 week." And then he brings down his gavel and
Is
he
there
says,
is there a plan of nearby, like a potted plant or something?
"Oh, if it's in the map, then it's in the map.
I can't.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
God.
I don't see.
I got a
anything.
big screen, so and it's zoomed out, so I'm not looking.
Yeah, I'm looking at the map. I don't see any plants. A lot of braziers, but other than
All
that,
right.
and paperwork.
I'll
All
just
right.
say, well, pull out a, I'll pull out a couple of jugs, and then water will magically appear in them. And I said, luckily for you, you've found someone who specializes in finding this kind of situation.
And he says, "Very well, very well." And then Rikas and Neva, they take off. Igas kind of sticks around the room if you want to speak with him. Igas is more of the book smart guy. The guy knows a little bit about history and things like that. The other people are leaving the council chamber, and then you guys are in the room alone. You could either speak with Igas, I mean, he's sticking around, or you can leave the area and go to the uh, a bar, whatever, or go to the sheriff and talk to him, or whatever.
Hey, can I ask the history guy what he knows about Boris Citadel?
And then he says, yes, that place is basically an abandoned citadel by Boris himself. He has long since left the area. If I remember, I think it was maybe about 10 years ago, been about a decade since he's been there. He now has been seen to the west of the area. I couldn't be for sure. He does have means to make himself undetectable from what I've heard, and it makes it almost impossible for us to locate him at any time. Something about unable to scry him, or again, he more than likely has some sort of magical items that he can use to cloak himself from any detection. But other than that, he has been seen with the Queen of Nivea. But again, I don't know much about that. We do have a couple of spies in that area. If you wanted to maybe get in touch with them, you would want to speak with Sidria. She knows a little bit more about the Veiled Alliance than I would, but I can give you as much information that I can regarding the Queen of Nivea. She's a very
I say, yes, the Tithian's task may it seems like a good first step in completing the task that was entrusted to me. But we'll have to see what my companions think of it. For now, it seems like the water is an important first priority.
He says, yes, we want to make sure we're fortified in case of an attack and a siege, giving us no access to any more water. So yes, that is something we definitely need to concentrate on.
So before we leave, guys, everyone will get 1 gallon of water since we're going to be desert traveling for a day before heading into the aquifers, and then the other 6 gallons I will create. Well, I'll hand over to Rickus here. Tell him there's an advance that it's not much, but there's an advance for now.
Oh,
And I say, by the way, when Kalec died, did he have any arcane staffs by chance? Not any magical ones. I just would wish to have one of his
and
to
then
remember him.
and then Thithian basically walks down and kind of grabs you by the arm, not forcefully. He just kind of walks up to you and says, "My dear sir, I do want to speak with you regarding some of the items that the previous Sorcerer King did have in hand." And then he kind of talks to you and says, "Unfortunately, good sir, none of these items are available for anyone to control." You would understand that if some particular people were to find out that there was a means or an abundance of supplies from the Sorcerer King, that the first thing they would want to do is pilfer those supplies. So we have them pretty much on lockdown. So if you do have any questions, you would want to speak with me about certain subjects. Again, we don't want to advertise that the Sorcerer King did have many of supplies that would become useful to the enemy. So we'll just keep that on the down low.
I see. Yes. It was more of a souvenir to remember him by, and I kind of wink at him, and I say, but yes, a walking stick will do, and I have one of those. So I guess we'll be off on our task. It
Oh, yep.
seems.
And then Thithian kind of bows to you, and then the rest of the guys. He says, "Look, if you have any questions regarding any supplies or any information, feel free to come by my office, and I'll be more than glad to explain to you what the situation is here in the city." And then he goes back and talks to his council members. All right. Well, anybody else want to speak with the council before they take off? Before you guys take off?
Much. We should probably get to work here as soon as we can.
Yep.
This is we've only got how many days are in an Athasian week?
What is it?
10 days, I think,
10
earlier.
Yeah, 10 days, I think.
Okay, yeah. So we got 10 days to find this source of water. We should probably get on that ASAP.
And then Agus basically walks next to you, Mr. Silver. He says, there are 2 locations that I'm aware of. Of course, there's the underground aquifer underneath the city. Unfortunately, that is very dangerous for anyone to make it down into the aquifer area. That is one source of where we can more than likely find a water supply that would be near to the city, to where we wouldn't have to worry about any outside source stopping the water from flowing into the city. Of course, you can go outside the city. Hopefully, we can have the Templars make some sort of adjustment or plans on
I'll
have
basically
the
tell them the plan initially here is to spend the first day basically within a day of the city, see if we can't find any local springs that can last the town, at least for now, until we can find a way to get to the larger underground aquifer. At least that's the plan I have.
And then he kind of comes up to you and says, "I have heard rumors," and again, these are just rumors, that there is a certain, let's just say, a certain group of people that are more astute with finding locations of water. This is out of character. So you have these other specific group that knows how to find water fairly easily, guys, such as maybe like the elves outside of the city, You know that elves.
I'm an elf from
Oh,
outside the
he is
city.
an elf.
Oh,
Or
okay,
the
okay.
character is an elf.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
I'm an elven druid from outside the city.
oh well, if that's the case, you know that there are a bunch of hot spots within the elvish tribes outside the city. These are not, I'd have to put them on the map. But since there are elves that live in tribes, they would more than likely know, a lot of locations of where these water sources are. Because again, elves need water. I mean, without water, they're not going to live. So they
I mean,
have
most
to.
things need water.
Yeah, exactly. So if you
Not constructs.
yeah, since you are an elf, you just told me you're an elf. Then you have a group of people that you know of that can find water easily if you are out stuck in the desert. So you do have a bit of an advantage, Mr. Silver, for being
I'm
an
also a
elf.
druid, so I can also track down water if I need to.
Okay, well then there goes that. All right. Well, since you are a elf, you know that there are maybe one or two supplies outside the city that you could easily tap into if you wanted to.
Well, see, since you're telling me that, I will, if you'll let me, I'll put a hand on the shoulder of, what's his name again? I'm horrible with names.
Kalik or one of the players, Bread,
Rickus. Rickus.
Rickus.
The
Oh,
guy, yeah, the guy who was talking to me.
oh yeah, Rickus. Okay.
I said, "Are you too concerned about the source of the where you're getting the water from?"
He says, well, having a source outside of the city would make it problematic if an army were to fortify the city, meaning that they would stop any supplies coming in and out of the city, especially water. So that might be problematic. He kind of suggests that would be a good idea to go down into under tier to find the source of water. Because again, he is suspicious that the city will eventually be sieged, meaning no supplies are going to come in
So
and
I was
out of the city.
saying, yeah. So I said it's only a temporary solution, but we should probably get as much supplies as soon as we possibly can. First things first.
He says, well, I'll leave it up to your
I'll tell him I might have contacts or in the local areas around here that might be able to temporarily supply us with water.
and he
The
says,
city
well,
with water.
we kind of need more than a trickle of water. We need to feed
I
the
wasn't
city.
finished. Yeah, just
Oh.
kind of said they can provide a little bit of water. That way, the city doesn't doesn't die of dehydration while we try and dig into the aquifers.
He says, well, I'll leave it up to your sensibilities on how you want to tackle that. Again, the only thing that I'm concerned about is making sure there's enough water for the future.
Got to take care of the problem now that we're facing now before we can worry about the future, though.
He says, very well. And then Mr. Agus says, look, if you are going to be looking for the source of water, I can have a couple of the Templars go with you to make sure that the water is going to come in from the elemental plane of water. That way there won't be any kind of limitation on the water supply for the city.
I'll talk to saying your Templars aren't going to mind getting water from other races, will they?
Says no. Right now, the Templars are unified for now under Thythian's authority, and they know that the water is imperative for the future of the city. Because again, we do expect a siege from the other city. It's just a matter of time.
Okay, so unless any of you guys have any other ideas, I think we should probably get to work on getting and securing an immediate temporary source of water, so that way we can focus our attentions on the aquifers afterwards and not buy ourselves some time.
Oh, okay.
All right.
All right. What about the rest of you guys? Everybody's good with the mission number 1 is getting water?
I'm good.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm good with it.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. Well, do we want to get the water, or do you want to do this next week?
It's 9 o'clock, so the question is everyone okay with staying here another 2.5 hours potentially?
I'm okay with it.
Wait.
Yeah, it's fine with me. I
Wait.
think, yeah.
I don't gotta be anywhere tomorrow or Tuesday, so I don't care. So that's why I was asking the question.
Yeah.
Essentially, are you okay with being here another 2.5 hours?
Yeah. It's whatever you guys want to do. It's just gonna be a map of you guys looking for
Drummer,
water.
you okay?
I mean, I can. 2.5 hours is pushing 11:30 here,
Well,
which
tell you what. Why
is
don't
a little
we?
late.
Yeah. Why don't we wait until next week, guys? No hurry. The only reason I'm saying this is because, I just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page when it comes to the mechanics, what needs to be done, and things like that. So you guys are pretty much clear on what needs to happen.
Next
And
week we'll begin our water hunting adventure.
yeah, yeah. And again, I did give you guys a bunch of themes. So you kind of maybe want to think about, well, okay, where do we want to go for the end game? Because, Mr. Well, whatever. You guys can talk about it. I don't care. You guys can leave the whole city and let them get screwed.
We'll get our preparations done and we'll head out
Yeah,
next
yeah,
to next
yeah,
session.
yeah. Good, good. All right, all right. Well, all right, good. This went well. And you've got guys have a lot to mull over. All right, well, let me go ahead and stop the stream if we're going to be done for today. Any questions or comments?
Nope.
Nope.
This will give me a chance to do a little bit of shopping with my starting
yeah.
build since I just finished my character today because I wanted to get some answers, some
Now-
questions answered before we started playing.
I'll be
Okay.
back.
Now, you don't necessarily have to keep your character. Say, for example, you just like, this is not going to work for my mechanical gnome. You can change your mind, guys, and you can start a new character. You don't have to. I'm just giving you that if you want.
We
Yeah.
know.
Okay. All right.
Sounds good so far. Before I got committed to something, I wanted to have this session and see what you were changing about any of the mechanics before I.
Oh,
build,
okay. Okay.
But
Good. Good.
seems like everything's going to be okay, so now I can finish out the details and maybe buy a couple items.
All right.
Also, make sure everyone's got a gallon of water on their sheet. So
Well, I'm a construct that does not need to eat, sleep, or drink or breathe. So,
you still got a gallon of water, so you can use it for whatever purpose you want.
okay. So I can
All right.
pour it
Oh.
out on the ground in front of some thirsty beggars.
All right. All right.
Well, you need it for a reagent of some kind. You're the alchemist.
Not an alchemist, just an artificer. I do have alchemist tools. Proficiency, anyways. I don't have them. But yeah, I'm probably gonna, if Weave can get those monster loot books shared, I may actually pay attention.
Oh,
to those 'cause
yeah.
I'm gonna be crafting stuff.
Yeah,
Let me.
Those are very.
Yeah, when you get to
mean,
it, it's not. You don't need to do it
I
right
gave
this
you guys a good example. Seeing that you could make armor out of some of these monsters. I mean that.
Another issue where you were offering me studded leather was I already have studded leather, so it's like I don't need it.
Right. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
one of the players might say, I have shitty armor. I want to get.
We
something
can,
better.
because I can craft things up through uncommon rarity at a quarter of the time and half the cost of crafting. We can potentially profit a little bit off of looting the monsters and
Now,
making stuff and
steel
selling it.
armor, and it's gonna be problematic because it gets really hot. Just make sure you guys.
Well, that's why, thankfully, in Dark Sun, when you make stuff out of bone instead of steel, that's great for me as a druid.
Right, right. Well, I mean, if you do eventually find some, like a +2 plate mail or whatever.
Yeah, have you read this? Have you read this Deadlands book?
Yeah, I'm gonna utilize.
We
that.
went to
Yeah.
that glassy place last time.
Yeah, with the group just screwed me over.
Remember the obsidian?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
ground that was burning our feet.
Yeah, I got
I
plenty
don't
of.
think we went there when I played.
No, I got plenty of stuff for you guys to do. I've mucho things that I've got planned. All right, well, you know the deal, guys. I'll offer you about maybe 5 missions every session, so plenty of stuff to do.
I've just gotta hope that what's his name doesn't go too crazy with the murderer.
Good
kill.
luck with that, Hope.
Yeah, I'm gonna recruit 2
I
more
think
people.
that's probably gonna have to be one of the things I do as the good aligned person in the party.
I'm neutral good.
I should probably change my
I'm true neutral.
alignment.
All right,
So,
yeah.
all right, well, hey, I'm gonna go get some food. Thanks for the game, and yeah, I'll talk to you next week.
All right,
Good to
guys.
have you back.
Yeah.
And I will catch you guys next Sunday.
All right, take it easy, y'all.